Good morning, everybody. I am back today with, jeez. I need to turn off the audio there. I'm back today with our cast. We are going to be doing Arc 6 chapters 34 to 35 today. One thing we would like to mention before we get started is that the past couple chapters, we have been so lucky that they've been translated really well. Things have been double-checked. But this set of chapters, we did not do a full scan over, and they are a little more rough than we've had in the past for Arc 6. So this is definitely going to be a complete rewrite of these two chapters. And since we've had so many people ask us why we do this and blah, 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 we're going to demonstrate to you live today why we do a little extra translation for Arc 6, as it wasn't as heavily proofread as other arcs. The rest of the arcs, like Arc 7, 8, 9, they're beautiful, they're great. This is probably the last arc we'll ever have to do too much to, besides like Arc 2 and 3. So keep that in mind. Moving forward, we're going to do our best. We're going to try out some newer narrators as well. Today, we have to do a full re-record of chapters 34, 35. So when we start posting out the chapters, hopefully starting in July, once we get everything going, then we're going to have a complete redo of this one too. So please, if you're watching today, if you are a timestamper, do us a favor, and on your timestamps, can you tell the people who never watch these parts that, like, hey, we're going to redo this, so they don't spam our messages with, why does it sound like this? Why does it sound like this? We appreciate you. Also, quick shout out, we are still casting for Arc 7, so if you would like to join us for Arc 7, please submit your auditions. You can check out our video on our YouTube channel. You can apply on Casting Call Club or through email. Please follow the rules that we have set out. No slating, please. We've had a lot of slates. Other than that, we have partnered with the ReZero Reddit. I finally got the right one linked, so thank you guys for that and posting us on your server. As well as shout out to the ReZero Discord server for posting us and posting our audition as well. We've been working with our communities quite a bit, and it's been great working with them. All right, without further ado, it's good to see you all. Let's bring in everyone and let's do our introductions.
Botany and Melee in
you
the
guys are live.
Spoilers, Common.
I can't believe one word came
In
through.
my defense.
One word came through.
Melee, how dare you?
Have you
For
no
shame.
honor?
Hello, everybody.
Hold
Welcome
Arc Ruin, bring it in.
And we're done. We're cooked.
Yep.
And we're being canceled. It's over.
All right, everybody. As always, we're going top to bottom for introductions, starting off with Al.
Hello, everyone. I am Al. I am the basement guy, but today they have to let me out of the basement because I have to narrate a single chapter, so I'll be out for maybe an hour. Thank the Lord.
Huck.
Hello, everyone. I'm Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the ReZero podcast, and your voice for Julius and Rom, and the one who is being forced to comply with Kyle's requests for today.
I forced it.
I honestly thank you, because this would have driven me insane otherwise.
Yeah. Greeny here, one of the editors of Studio Reverie, and going to be one of the narrators as well. And yeah, this is going to be fun. I gotta think positive.
Yay!
Hello, I am Carmen, the voice of Melee, as well as one of the other editors, and a partial narrator for today.
Woohoo! I'm Kyles McGiles. I'm your Amelia. I'm covering for Anastasia and Shala today. And I run this place. Yep, that's about it.
My name is Skura. I am occasionally an editor, and today I will be covering partial narration.
Yay.
Hello, I am Tealdi. I'm filling in for Beatrice today. Normally I narrate, but not today, and that's all right.
That's okay.
Hey everyone, Wolf here. I'm one of the co-hosts of the ReZero podcast, which we recorded a recent episode of recently. So when I'm working on the edits for the next one this weekend, any of the podcast folks out there will be very, very happy with the content that's coming up for them. And I am also your Subaru today and forever.
Yay! Yeah, all you Britburu haters, get out of here. Get out of here. Also, too,
Sure.
apologies for the people wanting the podcast. I just have not had the time to edit it, but it's coming. Yay, okay.
Yeah.
We're also all waking up. It's a bit early in the morning. It's a Saturday. Even earlier for some of us than others. Even later than for others. So, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good to have you. Yes, we are the web novel translation. We left you guys off on a cliffhanger last week.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
we're going to give some more context today, a little bit. It's a little tiny.
A teeny weeny bit of context.
And yeah, without further ado, you guys ready to get started?
Oh, most definitely.
As ready as I'll be.
You know what?
So-
After that cliffhanger, I think we go to a side story. How are we feeling about going to part 3 side story,
Ooh.
guys?
Well, we aren't in Arc 7 yet. We aren't doing that yet.
We go back to Arc
Not
4.
Can you imagine we just
Give
start
you the
covering
full
all the interludes out of nowhere? Wow, guys, these are some interesting side stories, eh?
Yeah, these are some-
Yeah, what about Frederica and Garfield's reunion after Arc 4?
What?
You know what was
True.
really good? The Teresia chapter. How about we revisit that?
I would
Yeah, how
cry.
about instead of
Yeah.
just revisiting it, we do EX3.
Oh.
Oh, and then we get
Read the living out
sued!
chapters.
And let's get Tealdi
Yeah,
to
that
narrate
gets
it all.
On it!
Tears streaming down.
Job over. Yeah, and then they're left with a permanent cliffhanger because then we can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I think Tealdi and I would literally just like Control F4, leave forever.
Well, it's been real, y'all.
This was great. Bye.
Such as
If we
life.
didn't get sued, I would read all of EX1 just straight up. It's
Yeah,
so
I
good.
would. I would do that in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, licensing rights for light novels are a lot harder.
If we could ever get to the point where Reverie becomes my full-time job and we can do it consistently and it's a thing, we could do it for Discord and it just be hidden in our Discord thing. That's totally doable. Just like My Fair Bad Lady, just like other things we can do.
It's like an ARG.
Yeah. But
Hey,
that's when we
find the
catch up
hidden
and we're
EX1.
waiting. And we have like consistent, solid stability so that we can sue back if needed.
We'll just start every stream with the next word in EX1 sequentially, and then if you listen to every stream, only the first word, you get the whole thing.
We should do that
Ooh,
for
we
Arc
patch
7.
it all together.
Patching.
Patching together.
Patching.
Why do I know that line?
Don't forget about it.
I wonder.
You don't want to admit
I
why you know
just
that
don't
line,
think-
Kylie.
Oh. We did a collab once.
All right, let's start off EX1, the first word. When
No, we have to start the next stream with that, and then we'll leave it as that, and we'll be
Oh
good.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it also has to be the chapter title.
Oh, I guess
Just
we'll have to
remember for
cast.
the
We'll have
next
to, like,
chapter.
big
Yeah,
brain
yeah.
it. Oh, Tealdi, get ready. Wait, we need someone as 4-year.
Don't worry.
I'll get it. Whatever.
Fucking
Come in.
dibs.
You're gonna be yourself
Yeah, just-
and your friend?
Yes!
I hope you can do that gruffly male voice.
There is no world where
Gruff.
Fourier has a gruff voice.
Bro is
Hold
not-
on.
He is
Fourier
not
does
like...
not. Excuse me?
For our femme voices, gravelly just sounds more like a lighter male voice. Unless we get real gravelly like Tealdi just did. We'll give you a
Some
pro
people
Fourier
femme.
gives the impression that
Batman.
you could genuinely cast a woman to play him, like they do
Yeah.
for like Naruto and Goku.
Goku,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hello,
literally.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, not too far off that.
I'm
Not
Deku.
bad.
Oh my god, no.
Why?
Banished!
Exactly.
Banished!
I don't need your love, Deku. I just need explosions.
Wow, Taomi
Oh my
can
God.
do
Oh
both! Now, are we gonna keep
Okay.
Gold as Ferris, or are we gonna recast Tealdi?
Yeah, we recast it as Tealdi.
Well, we have Ferris's family. that we
Oh,
could-
there
Yeah.
you go.
That's out.
That we do.
Oh, that's
Oh, all the bad people. Okay.
And
Oh,
someone who we actually have an
yeah.
audition for out right now. So if you want to be part of EX1, go
What?
browse the Arc 7 audition.
Yeah! Yeah!
yeah.
Go do that. That's a fun little tidbit for you.
Nanita, yo.
It's true.
Who?
That was
I think it's technically a spoiler for us.
Yeah,
right
it
now
is a
for live,
spoiler.
but
Oh my god, okay, never mind.
Like
I'll ask
an actual
later.
huge spoiler, I
I'll go
can't say.
read.
yeah.
you called him Ratman, and we said we all thought the same thing.
Ow!
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
In the back
What?
of one of the Arc 7 volumes, they draw something and they point to him and they say he's from EX1.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
It was really funny.
It was quite
Yeah.
funny, yeah.
Okay. Well, without further ado, before I accidentally lie about we have no spoilers here, let's get going before I spoil shit for people.
Before you get off the handle.
Yeah.
I literally will have to get
Just
off
remember,
my high
we
horse.
have to start the next stream off with
Okay,
Okay, just
we'll have a plan. We have to cast everything. Consistency is key.
We'll finish
How
the
many
X1 by the time we
words?
make Arc 9.
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah. I think we're gonna be going till arc 27
It's
or
like
something.
it's like a whole phase. Cut.
Yeah, it's
Maybe we can also end
if
every video we make for Arc 6, like our redos. The very last
Oh
thing
my
we hear after
God.
the bong is the once
yeah,
upon
Duh.
a time. Shit like
Hey,
that.
hey, 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 no, it's the first title starts with so we have to start with A.
Okay, okay.
Spoilers! Oh my goodness!
Oh
my
man,
goodness.
the story's
Literally
ruined
a
for me
single
now.
Word. Oh, it's so over. It's
God damn.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry.
Thank you, Zoc.
Thank you, Zach, as always.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm getting the word count.
While you guys
Of
do that,
this.
I'm running to the washroom before we go.
Oh. As you could, as the audience at home might be able to tell here, we are really trying to put off doing these chapters.
There's
I think
a
we're
reason.
putting at this point. It's just fun, and you and I are tired. We were up late recording
we-
and then working and then doing.
Yeah, we recorded the podcast late last night, and I'm gonna be honest with you, audience at home. I just set up the phase 3 like actual proofreading selection because I was like, the quality's been pretty consistent the past couple chapters, and then I went to scan this one,
It'll be fine.
and I had a near heart attack.
No,
You know
just
what?
look at it and go, oh no.
It's very early 2000s fan subs for Death Note. and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they
yeah.
Coded in this one.
It just kind of like it stands out as different, and I think it's just because different translations and stuff. But yeah, so my bad. Also,
Our
a lot
bad.
more,
It is totally cool.
a lot more Subaru internal dialogue this time around, which I always do enjoy.
So I mean, that's one of the weird things. It hasn't been a point where it's not been there, but more often than not, and I've done this too, a lot of his internal dialogue just is weird to be internal when it's just following the narration.
Because it works better as the narration.
And unlike with most books in the West, where they will like italicize all the internal dialogue, or they throw in a different quote around it, like they'll use apostrophes or something. Tappei does the same thing for doing Subaru's internal dialogue that he also does for like a step beyond narration, like almost establishing scene stuff. Like this happens later, or they wandered around for a bit. Think like lines like that don't fit to the normal narration. He does the same double dashed line in front of them, or it's like a horizontal one in the Japanese one. So it's a little funky. So a lot of the times they'll just translate it and adjust it to be normal narration because the narration already sounds like it's Subaru doing most of the talking anyway. It's only noticeable when you get chapters from other people's perspective, and none of those line breaks are there, and you can tell that they aren't doing that. Or there's significantly more, and you can tell that he's doing it a lot. So it's kind of a guessing game. That's why Arc 2, when I was translating those, was so chock full of them, because I just made the call that I'm going to make all the internal dialogues, all the internal dialogues.
A lot of it you were just doing from scratch, right? So...
I mean, not always by scratch. For most of those chapters, I was using the existing stuff as a guide to what was happening, or even looking at the light novel.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I mean...
I think it's like...
If you got...
65,000 words.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be on Arc like 27 by the time we're done.
You'll have to call me in with a Ouija board by the time you get to the end of it.
Teone from Beyond the Grave, the rating.
Look, that will draw in the viewers.
Join us in this spiritual experience.
A legit ghost here.
Necromancy.
That would be
pass this through our lineage.
If we continuously streamed twice a week, every week, non-stop, it would take us 625 years to do that.
Oh my god!
Not just me! Yay!
We can all do it together!
Woo! Here it is.
I love this channel.
Right,
yeah, I don't love it that much.
Let me rest when I'm bones, god damn it.
I don't need my pearly white bones needing to be extracted for that, you know. One day I'd like to
28th century? Nah.
Nah.
You have to raise your cadaver.
Not the cadaver.
Not the cadaver.
Look, necromancy is just
My
really
cadaver.
late healing.
Oh my god.
In second edition, all healing magic was considered necromancy. It was the magic of all life energy.
Dang.
The more you know.
And they all hated it.
Deep shit. Let's move on.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Wow,
I couldn't figure out a
incredible.
segue. That was really aggressive of me.
There was no segue. Just need
Let's
to
do it.
Good job.
Let's go, y'all. Before we back out again.
Before we lock the fuck out too much.
Lock in, lock in. Common is our first narrator, and then I think after is Greenie.
Me, Greenie.
Oh, Greenie.
And then Skura, and that'll switch over right at our little fancy asterisks.
Page breaks. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Reminder, don't redo any of the lines, just keep rolling. Just keep rolling. We're gonna redo the whole chapter later.
Yeah, you've got this.
Just commit. It'll be okay.
Commit
Enjoy
to the
it
bit.
for the memes.
Commit, dash, and push all.
Okay, we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Arc 6, Chapter 34. Coming out of the convenience store, there was a wondrous world. Natsuki Subaru had been born into the lax educational environment of Heisei era Japan. If the whole story of the entire 17 years of his life were to be told, it would probably take all 17 years to do it. So, with those parts omitted, a brief explanation of his current position would be along the lines of a 13-year-old high school hikikimori. Or, in a little more detail, it would be a hopeless shit who goes against his parents' expectations and shuts himself in his own shell at a time when exams are coming up. There were no particular reasons for him to withdraw himself. One ordinary weekend, the thought just occurred to him that it would be a pain to get up that day, and from there, his abstancing was underway. Slipping further and further like this, he took more and more voluntary leaves from school, and before he knew it, he had become a shut-in who made his parents cry. Day after day, he spent his indulgent slothfulness, cutting off all communication, submerging himself in the internet.
In the end, I got summoned to a parallel world.
Subaru?
While he was busy muttering to himself and trying hard to organize some understanding of the current situation, two white hands grabbed onto Subaru's cheeks. Looking up in front of his eyes, there was a beautiful silver-haired girl who had done so.
Honestly, a very beautiful girl.
With long silver hair that gleamed like the moonlight, with amethyst eyes like embedded gemstones. Her long lashes were trembling as she gazed at him with a worried gaze that took her beauty beyond the natural order of the world, such that it gave him the illusion that he was seeing some divine art piece magnificent enough to make all the artists of the world give up their brushes. And then there was a question. Why would such a beautiful girl be squeezing his face in a close range that they could feel each other's breaths letting out a Her smell was super nice.
Subaru?
Yes! I'm Natsuki Subaru.
His name being called once again by that voice, like the ring of a silver chime, Subaru spasmed out a tense smile in reply. Not just his face, but even his voice was quaking. It wasn't entirely clear whether that could be a smile. And for reasons Subaru could not understand, this girl seemed to be especially close to him. Otherwise, she wouldn't be talking and staring at him with such a super close distance like this.
Subaru? Everything alright? Sorry, but you're acting a little strange.
Strange? What? Like my eyes or something like that?
Not that. Your eyes are still really scary looking, like usual. I guess it's nothing.
My eyes are usually really scary looking!
Trying to calm himself down by jogging around a bit, he instead got hit by that totally unexpected comment. Watching Subaru recoil from that remark, the gorgeous girl stuck out her tongue with a little, "You're always like this." So cute. What's going on with this girl? Why does she seem so terribly close to me? And just, what did she mean by always like this and acting so worried?
Yeah, you might have come to that conclusion too rashly, in fact. Something does seem off, I suppose.
But Subaru's eyes just always look like that. I think.
I'm not talking about Subaru's scary eyes right now, in fact. I don't really care if his eyes look scary, I suppose.
What's with this about my eyes being scary looking? It's a bad hobby to be picking on other people's weak points, you know? What's with you people? No, I mean you two are kind of cute and all.
Propping himself up with great force, Subaru started blowing up in front of the beautiful girl and the one she was talking to. A little girl, cute and fairy-like, dressed in an extravagant dress, sporting a pair of no less elegant twirling drill curls, but his voice quickly trailed off. Inherently blunt, he had started blurting this out without thinking, before he realized that on the other end were a beautiful woman and that beautiful little girl he had just met. Shutting himself up, now serious, he recognized that he shouldn't have snapped.
This situation is too strange.
What if Subaru had imagined was correct? These two girls must be important Joyo Jinbutsu. Something above the villages of the first village or anything of the sort. So, Subaru should straighten himself up and focus on first impressions. Coughing once, he intended to start over. Subaru turned to face the two in front of him. Taking the two shocking-looking girls and the giant black lizard curled up behind his back into his gaze, Subaru took a step back and...
Let me introduce myself again! My name is Natsuki Subaru!
Nio Dachi Ninaru. By jabbing a finger towards the ceiling, he held his waist with the other hand. Sadly, there was no shiny reflective ball or disco music, but Subaru sparkled his teeth as he said this and tried to make the most of it.
Shamefully ignorant, blown here by the immortal winds of gods and demons, an uncouth vagrant, but nonetheless pleased to meet thee!
Listening to him proclaiming this at the top of his voice, for a moment, the other two could only stare at him stupidly. Getting no reaction at all, Subaru only continued maintaining his pose until there was a reaction, as if whoever moved first would lose. He decided he was in it to win it. And so, after about 10 seconds had passed in silence, the two girls looked at each other, and then...
Well, but we already know you, right?
It's way too late for self-introductions, in fact.
And just like that, yanked out of his high-spirited self-introduction, his thoughts spilled out into that groan.
It was only a little later when the seriousness of the situation became apparent. He was rather proud of the self-introduction, but seeing the way it was received, Subaru couldn't help but bend his neck. But after hearing about the situation again from the two girls, it was clear why they had been so surprised. Subaru and the girls' memories were different. While Subaru was supposed to be meeting them for the first time, they already knew who Subaru was. Of course, there were no such memories on Subaru's side. So then...
In other words, Subaru, you don't remember anything? About this tower? About what happened in Prestella? And even about Ram and Beatrice? And about me too?
Yeah, that seems to be... yes.
Oh.
Seeing Subaru with his knees neatly folded and stuttering out his reply, the beautiful girl widened her eyes. The sight of her pupils violently trembling sent a sense of intense guilt into Subaru's heart. But she was not the only one who was shocked by Subaru's reply.
Your memories are gone? No way. There's no way that could happen.
Muttering this in a whisper was the pale-faced little girl. Even more confused than the pretty girl, the younger girl had not been spared from the shock. As Subaru sat on the side of the bed of ivy, the little girl sitting beside him was softly tugging on his sleeve. Seeing her delicate fingers lightly trembling, Subaru's heart ached. Facing the two girls, shocked and lost in front of him, Subaru attempted to think of something to say, but unfortunately nothing came to him. Honestly, so much cold water had been dumped on him at once that it would have been enough for him to drown in. Initially, what Subaru thought had happened to him had been just getting summoned to a parallel world. While getting summoned to a parallel world, even with just attached to it, was already far beyond what would be considered common sense. It turned out to be even further away than he imagined. Although it could be said that he had almost reached the correct answer. As far as Subaru was concerned, this was not the familiar world he had lived in for 17 years. It was clearly evident just by looking at the outlandish clothing and the inhuman beauty of these two girls. If that still was not enough, the giant black lizard the size of a horse should be also be submitted to the court as evidence. He had heard of Komodo dragons that were supposed to be pretty big, but that would be nothing compared to the stature of this black lizard. And with the bed and chairs made out of ivy added to that, there was a pretty clear case on hand.
In other words, this is a world outside all common sense. An alternate parallel world.
Belonging in this so-called fantasy genre, it was a world wholly unknown to Subaru. Then the next question would be, why had Subaru been summoned here? And who had been the caster to summon him? At first, he thought it would have been the two girls in front of him, since that was just how stories usually panned out. And he figured they were probably the main heroines here. But following that train of thought would be a little strange. As previously mentioned, the girls knew Subaru, yet Subaru had no memory of this. Their understandings were at odds.
Then I've met them already, but I just forgot about it? That's...
Trying to process the new information from their last exchange, Subaru made a difficult face. At the very least, Subaru's Ishinoriko was already quite overloaded once it dawned on him that he had been summoned to a parallel world. Subaru's plate was really in no condition to understand that he had actually been active in this parallel world for quite some time before this. Frankly, Subaru would have been more inclined to say something like, "Is that even possible?" and laugh the matter off. But the beautiful women and girls seemed dead serious and did not appear to be lying either. Of course, Subaru had no memories of the things these girls were talking about, and he would have stubbornly denied them if only he did not feel so guilty about the look on these girls' faces. In fact, if he had to pick between his own opinions or the girls', he would probably believe the girls since he was not even close to trusting himself enough. Of course, that was not his single reason. A strong clue would be the changes to his body.
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be the same body I came out of the convenience store with.
Mumbling this, Subaru held up his right arm and opened and closed his fist. It might have been physiological, but his arm felt a little stronger than before, and on his palm there seems to be a few more calluses than he recalled. There were no calluses made from swinging bamboo swords, because after all, he had not practiced with bamboo swords for over a year now. Also, those were not the only changes to his arm.
Gross.
Turning his arm over, Subaru frowned up his face upon laying his eyes on its backhand side. His arm not only felt slightly stronger, but its appearance had become grotesque as well. From his right elbow all the way up to his wrist, there was a long pattern of black spots. They bulged out like veins and covered over his arm like a tattoo someone with rather bad taste might have gotten. If it did not appear to be so organic, it might have been mistaken for a tattoo. But no matter how he picked at it, it was just a part of his arm. Undeniably grotesque. So he scratched at the black spot pattern even harder. When tracing it with his fingers, the texture felt no different from his skin. It did not hurt on its own, and there was no sort of strange numbness either. And by digging his nails into it, the corresponding sharp pain came just as he would expect. If he scratched to his heart's content, he wondered if the black skin would break and bleed.
And if it did bleed, would the blood be red?
Subaru?
Huh? No, nothing. I just thought my arm got sunburnt from the Kongari and was a little bothered by it. That's all.
Although he was a bit shocked by the change, when he heard the pretty girl's worried call, he immediately tried glossing it over with a joke. One could say it was fortunate, but Subaru was bitten by someone who balked at the sight of wounds on his own body. It was not that he would not feel guilty about damaging the body his parents had bestowed him with, but even without this, his sense of guilt towards his parents was already piling on over and over at this point. Still, this was a pretty wide area. If he wore long sleeves and perhaps some gloves, he could probably keep it from offending anyone else. Much better.
I usually wear long sleeves anyway, and it's not illegal to equip some fingerless gloves too. If I ever get into a dangerous situation, I can just yank off the glove and show them the black arm. And they'll be like, no way! That guy's got a black arm! Isn't that just exciting to think about?
Subaru licked his parched lips and swooshing his arm around like crazy. Considering the changes to his arm, as well as the strangeness of the whole situation, the believability of the girl's explanations was very high. In the first place, Subaru's most recent memory was immediately after shopping at the convenience store. Subaru was definitely wearing his jersey when he finished shopping, but right now, far from his favorite old jersey, he was wearing some sort of dirty, worn out traveling clothes. Nor was he wearing sneakers on his feet, and his Kongari over sunburnt arm was no longer holding a shopping bag either. Indeed, he had not only jumped worlds, but had leaped through time as well. Coming out of the convenience store, the moment he blinked his eyes, he woke up here. It was Subaru's understanding of it. If so, then at which moment did he lose consciousness? By the time he realized he was sleeping, he had been awoken by a call. So then, what was up with the black void before this?
I was summoned to a parallel world from outside the convenience store, and after some time had passed, I lost my memories.
Summoned to a parallel world sounded like the unraveling of a dream he had dreamt who knows how many times before. Yet he could not simply be pleased to accept this terrible unexpected gift. Unbeknownst to Subaru, Subaru had lived for a time in this parallel world, and it was a fact that over that time, Subaru had interacted with and gotten to know these girls he did not recognize. Would it really be alright to believe them, believe in their goodwill, and stay here with them?
That's right! I can understand why you're feeling down, but I'll just say one thing! Let's get our spirits up!
After thinking long and hard about it, Subaru suddenly puffed up with spirit and shouted that out of the blue. Beside him and in front of him, the downcast expressions on the two girls sent his heart into a passionate boil. Without a doubt, they were confused and heartbroken about the situation. While it was still a bit hard for Subaru to accept that he was the primary cause of this, he knew he was the only person who could fix it. So, extending out a hand to each of the astonished girls in a deliberately flashy gesture.
As far as I know, these cases of temporary amnesia usually get better due to some sudden plot development, so there's no need to be too worried. If anything, like in movies, it usually gets resolved in 1 or 2 hours and everything goes back to normal for some cliched happy ending. Tragedy is the best Yakumi to lead up to the grand happy endings after all.
Sorry. I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
But
Immediately after Subaru laid down his rapid-fire delivery full of bravado, the beautiful girl informed him that she did not understand any of that. Subaru felt like deflating at those words. but the girl quickly shook her head, and then lightly scratching the corner of her eye with a sudden smile.
Subaru is still Subaru after all. I'm relieved.
Is that right? If you say that, then I guess I feel a little bit relieved as well.
Ew!
What did you do that for?
With a vigorous cry, the gorgeous girl slammed her palms onto her own cheeks with a force that could not be overlooked. Clamping down with both hands at once, a crisp sound ringing out, the girl's cheeks turned bright red. Seeing Subaru thrown into complete disarray at the sight of that gesture, the pretty girl lightly shook her head and...
There. I got my spirit back. Being like that is no good, is it? How can we keep making that troubled face when Subaru must be feeling even more troubled than we are?
She may not look like it, but this girl is crazy ferocious.
Quick! Beatrice, too!
With her cheeks still bright red, the pretty girl's dashing declaration stunned Subaru into a state of shock. And then, with the same fervor, the beautiful girl called to the now petrified cute little girl sitting beside Subaru. In front of the pretty girl's intimidating presence, the little girl in a dress shriveled back a bit, but...
I'm shocked too. And I also understand the sadness. But right now, we don't have time to think about the ones who's taking this the hardest. We have to do something for him, don't we?
But Betty is...
The little girl closed her mouth as if searching for what to say. Seeing her childlike indecision, the beautiful girl did not speak a thing, and only stared and awaited a response. She could have continued on and pressured her to change her heart, but the girl did not do this, and the reason was most likely because she had faith in the little girl. Unable to remember them, Subaru could not possibly understand the trust that existed between these two.
Baru must be very distraught right now, I suppose.
Well, I didn't really say that.
Making an ultra-small effort to salvage some dignity, Subaru quibbled. But seeing that the little girl had not been convinced by this, Subaru ended up scratching his head. And...
honestly, yeah. Yes, I want you to please help me!
After being pushed into a corner, he admitted to the true state of his mind. Seeing this, the little girl's eyes widen. In her thin, pale blue eyes were a pair of the strangest pupils. For some reason, they appeared to be the wings of butterflies to Subaru.
In fact, just the most helpless contractor in the world, in fact.
The next moment, as if those butterfly wings had fluttered up a tornado, the little girl's attitude took a 180-degree turn. Crossing her short arms, the little girl yelled out in an exacerbated voice. Seeing her like this, the beautiful girl smiled, and Subaru's shoulders jumped up. And then, pointing a finger directly at Subaru's nose...
All time. You're just throwing up all sorts of trouble to annoy Betty, I suppose. If you don't stop it with these sloppy, irresponsible shenanigans, even Betty is not going to love you anymore, in fact.
Oh. Then that means...
But since you're sincerely begging for Betty's help, I'll let this one go, I suppose. At any rate, without Betty, Subaru will just be a hopeless, lonely wimp who can't go on living, in fact.
Did you have to put it like that?
The incredible rate at which the little girl escalated the conversation knocked Subaru straight into shell shock. Without this girl, would he really get so lonely that he would could not go on living anymore? How exaggerated could it get?
You tell me you've forgotten. I'll make you remember, I suppose. Betty's contractor is just an annoying, noisy man who, no matter what happens, will never fade to sepia in my reminiscences or anything like that, in fact.
There was a lot in there I didn't understand. But was all of that supposed to be talking about me?
Setting contractor, or whatever words he felt like he could not ignore aside, the downcast expression on the little girl's face seemed to have lifted, and so he decided to resist the urge to object for now. Frankly, it was still quite difficult for Subaru to just calmly accept the current situation. The mess in his head had yet to be sorted out. He still had not completely come to terms with reality, and he was unable to exactly swallow all the explanations as fact. But even so, for now, the girl's feelings had been conveyed to him.
My name is Natsuki Subaru. I just got here and don't even know the left from right yet, but I assume we're probably friends. And I've realised this is a bit brazen, but I'd like to ask you two a favour.
Jumping up once more, Subaru jabbed a finger toward the ceiling and announced his name, and then, shooting his arms towards the two girls in front of him, he tilted his head and...
Would you mind telling me your names, please?
Hearing those words, for some reason, the beautiful girl's throat froze up, and the little girl blinked her eyes. But this only lasted for a moment, then setting that aside at once, smiles gradually emerged on their faces.
My name is Amelia. Just Amelia. Nice to meet you, Subaru.
Betty is the great spirit Beatrice, and Subaru is Betty's contractor, in fact.
And just like that, they told him their names.
So, after that, Subaru managed to complete an event that ought to be labeled as second first meeting with Amelia and Beatrice. But over the breakfast table, after explaining the reason why everyone had to reintroduce themselves again, the general mood was like sitting on a mat full of needles. Naturally, Amelia and Beatrice were present, and aside from those two and himself, there were 5 other ladies and gentlemen in attendance. The ratio between gentlemen and ladies was a bit skewed, but at least both genders were represented. Amelia had explained that they were his companions, having followed Subaru, all currently putting their heads together to capture this tower, albeit he hadn't even realized it was a tower from the inside. If you were to describe each of these fabulous members in turn, it would be a glamorous woman that was too sexy looking, a pretty little girl with bewitching aura unbefitting of her age, a cute-faced girl with peach-colored hair and an enchanting gaze, an elegant girl with youthful features and a gentle air about her, and, lastly, a handsome young man with upright features surrounded by an air of nobility. Everyone is physically attractive, was Subaru's miserable realization about this parallel world at this point.
Well, just from personal preference, I still think the beautiful silver-haired Amelia-chan takes first place.
Ugh.
He whispered that random, innocuous thought out loud. It was met with an extremely cold reception in return. Well, obviously, after all, they've just been told that Subaru lost his memories, and had forgotten every single one of them. It was inevitable that they would be as stumped as Amelia and Beatrice were.
So, I guess everyone is pretty shocked. Subaru is in quite a situation right now. But even in a situation like this... No, precisely because the situation is like this, we should give him our support.
Saying this, Amelia pitched in to help Subaru sum up his situation. Nonetheless, even in the short time they got to know her, he could already tell that she was not very good at public speaking. It was only when Beatrice spoke her piece that they had been able to wrest control of conversation, which had been going all over the place. Thanks to that, Subaru's condition was just barely communicated to everyone present when.
Amelia-sama, are you certain?
Raising her hand, the girl with peach-colored hair asked Amelia for her confirmation. Amelia, who was addressed with the respectful Sama, nodded with a as if it were a matter of course.
That girl is Ram. She's a maid from the mansion. A maid. Do you know what that is?
No problem at all. But a maid at a mansion, you say? I think I got it.
The pretty peach-colored haired Ram, according to Amelia's supplementary information, was apparently a maid. Judging from the fact that she had a maid with her, Subaru could more or less imagine what Amelia's identity might be, while Ram, who could not care less about the train of thought right now, shot a pale red, piercing gaze at Subaru.
Is this some kind of prank, Barasu?
I know I can't help but come off as suspicious here, but that's the truth. Also, what's returning my name into a blinding curse? Oi! And, the sleeping girl back there. Are you her older sister?
Being addressed with that oatfish moniker, Subaru frowned and objected. Hearing this, Ram narrowed her eyes. The question about the girl in the green-colored room he had woken up in, who was not among those present here, with bright, light blue hair and the facial features identical to Ram's. She was sleeping, and no matter what kind of commotion was being thrown up around her, she went on sleeping, as though it had nothing to do with her. After introducing himself for the second time, she was the first person Subaru asked Amelia and Beatrice about. According to them, finding a way to wake her up from this unwaking slumber was one of the primary reasons they came to capture this tower.
Sorry I caused all this trouble when you're trying to wake up your sister, but I honestly have no idea what's going on with a lot of things right now. So please insult me all when you want when I get my memories back.
The way you said that, you really do not remember. That frivolous attitude and tone does not appear to be any different from regular Barasu.
When you put it like that, it almost sounds like I still got all my good qualities from before, which makes me feel a tad better. Well, they say a person's nature doesn't change so easily, so please treat the new me the same way you treated me before.
Subaru puffed himself up with spirit, and Ram only stared at this irresponsible attitude in disbelief. Like nothing changed at all. Subaru was so much like his usual self that he could not help but have such doubts. Apart from memory loss, it was true that it did not seem at all that bad. At least, in terms of interactions, there was no need to worry about anything feeling off.
So, that's basic.
Master!
Just as he got to the breather after Ram's questioning, Subaru almost flipped upside down with the sweet breath blowing into his ear. Completing his emergency sideways trajectory, he looked back and saw the glamorous black-haired girl standing in a position close enough to lick his ear. Sporting a black bikini, hot pants, and a cloak, the girl seemed to be aiming for a rather specific fetishism, but what freaked Subaru out wasn't her clothing, but her movement. Only a moment ago, she had been sitting cross-legged across from him on the floor. How did she manage to sneak up beside him?
It's Shala, Master's favorite disciple, and the Star Keeper of the Pleiades Watchtower.
Star Keeper? Also, my master? You mean me?
Yeah.
Beaming a smile that could outshine the sun at Subaru, who was pointing a finger at himself, the beautiful girl, Shala, nodded. The sight of that carefree smile completely turned Subaru's impression on its head. In terms of outer appearance, she seemed to be the girl closest to marriageable age in the group, and combined with that fashion choice, he had originally thought that there was an especially mature allure about her, but her attitude was like that of a child, or rather, like a puppy that was overjoyed to be noticed by its master, or something like that. In fact, She wasn't too far from Subaru's impression. Shala was wagging her black ponytail behind her like a dog wagging its tail.
Say, Master, you're still not tired of playing around like this? Just how many times do you have to forget me before you cut that out?
It's not like it's a matter of having had enough or not. Actually, are you telling me my memories get lost very often? Did crossing dimensions make my memories easy to lose or something?
Hearing Shala's airheaded comment, Subaru looked around at the others to make sure. Although Subaru had barely been able to accept the reality of his memory loss, having it happen frequently was a whole other story. And there was not just a preposition anymore. That would be an actual illness, where he constantly losing his memories because of some endemic parallel world disease. That would be quite a bit more serious than just making daily life inconvenient.
What is it? Do I really lose my memories that often?
No, of course not. Calm down, I suppose. Shala, don't make Subaru more confused than he already is, in fact. He's just finally settled down, too.
Holding Subaru's left hand, Beatrice, who had been sitting beside him all along, sighed. She shot Shala a piercing glare, and in return, Shala stuck out her tongue with a wah.
I wasn't trying to trouble Master, you know. But then, if that makes Master's head get filled with Shala, then that's okay too, isn't it? Oh, I'm such a fiendish girl. Master, do you like fiendish girls?
At this point in time, fiendish girls just mean confusing, so no thank you. Right now, I only want help from an angel, goddess, or fairy, so I'll leave the half-naked One-sama for another occasion.
That's so mean! Even though my boobs are so big, Master is so mean!
In front of Shala's ever-escalating affection towards him, Subaru declined her offer with an awkward smile. Honestly, he didn't dislike her at all, but he could tell that her affection was not directed at Subaru of this moment, but the master Subaru of her devotions. In fact, Amelia and Beatrice's fondness of him must have been the same as well.
Really? Oni-san's such a headache, son.
Regardless of Subaru's inner thoughts, the little girl commented in her sweet voice. Her appearance was that of a little girl about the same age as Beatrice, but unlike Beatrice's fairy-like features, her face was within the realm of human cuteness. Her deep blue hair was tied in a French braid, a rather unbecoming, seductive gaze being emitted from her eyes.
I would like to have a word with your parents, baby.
It'd be better if you don't. Oni-san and Mama wouldn't get along. You know, so... Also, aren't we talking about Oni-san's memories right now?
Even if you say that, there's no way to get them back right away. For now, your name's more important. Tell me that, and we'll have taken the first step in our friendship, you know?
Friendship.
The little girl covered her mouth and quietly snickered at Subaru. He was not sure what was funny. It was like a snicker somewhere in between mocking and speechlessness, and yet it was neither of those two. Subaru could not understand why she was laughing like that, but...
I'm Meili. Oni-san, have you forgotten your sewing skills along with your memories? I hope you could make me stuffed animals again.
Oh, my hidden power has already been revealed. Sounds like I'm pretty fond of Meili, huh? Ah, are you also kind of like a younger sister, like Beatrice?
That girl was an assassin sent to murder Subaru and Betty, I suppose.
What kind of joke is that?
Beatrice stumped a rather heavyweight joke on him, but for some reason, no one else was denying it. Unless... Subaru looked at Meili, and she gave him a little smile and waved her hand. Subaru had no idea what actually happened, but this little girl being an assassin still sounded a bit unrealistic. Although, maybe it would not hurt to stay on her safe side.
So then, Ram and Shawla and Meili have all introduced themselves. Then, the next would be...
Setting his various questions about Meili aside for now, Subaru turned his sights on the remaining two people. To the light purple-haired girl in a scarf, and the handsome featured youth. Of all those present, only those two had yet to utter a single word since Subaru's situation had been explained. And to Subaru, with the gender ratio excessively tilted towards females, that youth was the only person the same gender as him, so he was quite looking forward to what he had to say. But the silent youth's yellow eyes were trembling, and a ghastly aura was emanating from him as he sat there. It was an atmosphere that made one hesitate to speak to him, and Subaru could not speak easily as well. Even for Subaru, who was just universally recognized for his inability to read the mood, seeing the youth like this made him reluctant to put a foot forward. Perhaps, out of all the people in this room, he was the one who this had hit the hardest.
Just
Hmm?
Just give him some time to compose himself. That should be fine, no?
In the youth's stead, it was a pretty girl in a scarf who spoke, lightly raising her hand. Her clothing seemed to be quite a bit warmer than the others, and contrary to her cute appearance, her tone was a bit tomboyish, the so-called boko atmosphere, and just like this, she sliced through with conjugating atmosphere. Either way, her words have salvaged the conversation, although, for some reason, Amelia and everyone else seemed to be terribly confused about something just now.
Yeah, of course. It's my bad for suddenly shocking everyone with this.
The way I see it, it is not only that.
Oh! It's a Bokuko!
So this girl gave off the impression of being a boko, did actually refer to herself with Boku. With a thoughtful expression, the girl fiddled with her scarf and smiled bitterly at Subaru's words.
For now, you may call me Anastasia. In fact, were it not for your shocking revelation, it would have been me in your position, making a shocking revelation of my own. But it seems there has been a mix-up.
A shocking revelation?
Unsure what kind of revelation she was planning to make, Subaru seemed perplexed by her words, but Anastasia only lightly smiled and did not answer him. All the while, watching their exchange, the expressions on Amelia and Beatrice's face also seemed as if though they were puzzled by something. They did not know what Anastasia was going to confess either, but there appeared to be something else that was bothering them.
In any case, it seems Knight Julius needs some time to settle down. So let's prepare breakfast in the meantime. Amelia-sama, may I borrow Barasu to fetch some water with me?
Standing up from her seat, Ram patted her knees as she said this. Her dislike of the stagnancy of the current situation, it was encouraging that she suggested making use of the time. It made rational sense, yet something fell off as Amelia's face seemed to be surprised by the request. No matter what, to ask the amnesiac Subaru to accompany her in getting water would just be...
Subaru's memories are muddled up. Maybe it's better to let him rest?
Even if we let him rest, there is no way for him to recover his memories right away. Barasu said this himself. Besides, whether he has his memories or not, Barasu is still a servant under Roswell-sama's employment. He is just a bit more forgetful than usual. To use that as an excuse for slacking off is unforgivable.
That's pretty harsh, Ram-chan. Ram-san?
She shot him a glare, and Subaru's shoulders shrunk and shriveled. So perhaps Ram was right, although Subaru was currently in a difficult situation. He wouldn't feel comfortable being overly pampered because of it. Besides, watching the downcast youth supported by Anastasia, Subaru felt he should not be in that place, or at least until the youth had calmed down. Or maybe it was because she noticed this, that she wanted to bring Subaru out of the room.
If that's the case, I shouldn't underestimate you, Ram.
Anyways, let's go, Barasu. I do not expect other capabilities from you, but at least you should have no problem drawing water.
Oh, then we could...
If Barasu is too spoiled, it will not do him any good.
Perhaps calling her name without any suffixes was the correct answer. Since this time Ram did not object. Instead, she stopped Amelia, who wanted to come along. Just as Amelia was about to argue, Subaru cut off with a, "It's fine, it's fine."
Ram's got a good point. Aside from what's in my brain, my body is fine, and I heard that I'm supposed to be a servant. Like a scullery boy? Seems like it, I guess. So, in that case, I should go draw some water and resume my duties.
Subaru, you're not my servant. You're my...
I'm your... what? Huh? Unless I'm your... lover or...
No! It's absolutely, totally not like that at all.
It's absolutely, totally not that at all! Oh, well, yeah, I guess.
Breathing heavily through his nostrils, asking this full of hope, he had been immediately shot down by Amelia. She was definitely his type all the way, but his highborn flower was too far out of reach. Memories or not, how could Subaru possibly hope to come within reach of such lovely petals?
Anyways, don't mind me. Go take care of your end. Hopefully by the time I come back, you'll feel a little better.
You're right. I understand. I'll try to talk to him somehow.
Putting jokes aside, Subaru lowered his voice and whispered this to Amelia while pointing in the direction of the young man. The youth seemed to be exchanging words with Anastasia, but for some reason, he did not appear to be feeling any better. It would be great if Amelia and Beatrice could better his mood even slightly. Somehow, he felt like he should not expect Shala or Melee to be much help in the matter.
By all means, I'm counting on Betty. I'll leave it to you, Contract Co.
You didn't call me that, in fact.
Huh? Oh, really? Then just Beatrice?
That's good enough for now, I suppose. Super can leave it to Betty, in fact.
Still holding his hand, Beatrice slightly objected to what Subaru called her. Seeing her reaction, Subaru got the feeling that he'd make the wrong choice in the end, but still did not know how to fix it. Then, Beatrice let go of Subaru's hand so he could go fetch water, and turned her eyes towards Ram.
Older of the sisters, I'll entrust Subaru to you, I suppose.
Understood, but we are not going far. I doubt it will be dangerous.
It was precisely in that kind of undangerous place that Subaru lost all his memories, in fact.
Good point.
Can't argue with that at all.
Listening to the exchange between Beatrice and Ram, Subaru was struck with unpleasant consciousness. Just then, Amelia brought back a water bucket from the edge of the room, handing the bucket to Subaru.
Just go slowly with Ram and take your time. I'll try my best to calm him down before you get back.
Alright, do your best. I'll leave it to you, Amelia-chan.
For just a moment, there was a pause before she replied. Subaru did not pursue it. Having just been beckoned by Ram with the Barsu, Subaru took the bucket in one hand and followed her out of the room. As he left, he stole a glance in the direction of the youth, but he still appeared to not be ready for conversation.
Would it be alright if I ask what that's all about?
You mean Knight Julius? That would be quite cruel of you, Barsu.
It's cruel?
Now only the two of them, while walking down the hallway side by side with Ram, Subaru asked about the youth in that room, who seemed to have been so shocked to the point of speechlessness. Ram's reply was that he was cruel, and that he had picked up the youth's name was Julius, a name that gave off quite the smart impression, he thought.
I guess we could leave him to Amelia and Beatrice. That's why you brought me out here, isn't it? It wasn't just to fetch water, right?
Having put a little distance between the room and themselves, Subaru got straight to the point with Ram.
Not talking, huh? I mean, I'm not saying that for sure. I could be wrong, and it could turn out to be really super embarrassing for me, maybe. guess it really was to just get water. If that's the case, please forget what I said just now. Now that I think about it, all that smug face, something must be up, was just totally cringy right now.
Thinking he had probably gotten it wrong, Subaru's face was starting to tense up from the lack of a response, but just as he was trying to find a way to smooth it over, Ram stopped in her tracks suddenly. Going ahead for 2 extra steps before realizing that she had stopped, Subaru stopped as well and turned around towards Ram. She lightly brushed her peach-colored hair in.
Enough! You may drop the tedious act now, Barasu.
Then, with a slight tinge of anger in her crimson pupils, she spoke.
The act?
That was the whole point of changing locations. You understand that, don't you? You do not have to make a girl be so embarrassed. Disgusting.
Disgusting?
Not understanding what she was trying to say, Subaru furrowed his brows, but in the meantime, Ram hugged on her elbows and shook her head at his stupid-looking expression.
Anyways, since this is Barasu, he must have come up with some kind of half-assed plan again. Never mind the indiscreet Emilia-sama, the opposing faction Anastasia-sama, and the untrustworthy Shala. At least tell Rom what you are up to.
That way, in case of an emergency, it will be easier to coordinate?
With that as the subtext, Ram plainly said that to Subaru. Receiving this, Subaru's eyes drifted for a bit before bringing up his stable right arm and scratching back at his black hair.
About that, Ram, what you said just now, it's not that I don't understand, but...
But?
Sorry, this really is not an act or nor a prank or anything. I really don't remember. Sorry I can't live up to your expectations.
Stubborn. Barasu always likes to go it alone, but this time it concerns me as well. Rom has a stake in what happens to Rem, so I'm afraid you are going to have to let me in on this.
No, but I mean...
Who was being stubborn here? Subaru felt himself at a loss with Ram insisting like this. No doubt she could not accept the fate that he had lost his memories, but Subaru was at a complete loss seeing her so obstinate. In the end, how would pretending to lose his memories help capture this tower anyway?
Even though Rom does not understand, if it's Barasu, Barasu always has a plan. So, come clean with it. I will keep it a secret.
Although sharing a secret just between the two of us sounds enticing and all.
She had no awareness of the details, but she was certain Subaru had a plan. The way Ram had stated so had brought him such surprise that he stood there stunned for a moment. But even if she questioned him with flimsy logic, Subaru was unknowledgeable in how to reply. Come to think of it, she said, if it's Subaru, just how much faith did she have in him? But while Subaru was busy being occupied with these thoughts, Ram...
Barasu.
Oi!
Having taken a step forward, Ram closed in and swung her arm, sending the bucket in Subaru's left hand flying. Metal struck upon the stone floor, this high-pitched noise echoing down the hallway. Shocked, Subaru was about to raise his voice and ask her why he did that, but... A hand clenched onto his collar, and by the time he noticed he had lost his footing, he was already pinned against the wall. Letting out a small cry at the pain of his back striking against the wall, Subaru realized it was because of the petite girl in front of him. He belatedly realized it, but he did not know what the point of it was.
What? What are you doing?
Tell me, if you do not cut this out, Rom also has some other ideas.
The hell are you talking about? Didn't I tell you I got nothing? I'm not lying to you.
Faced with her quiet threat and use of violence, even Subaru's patience had reached its limit. How many times did he have to say it before she believed him? Just like this, he tried to grab Ram's wrists off that Just like this, he tried to grab off Ram's wrists that were clutching onto his collar when,
That is enough! Spill it all out!
hearing this close-up bark, Subaru's anger scattered through his ears. Perhaps it was the shock, but it was not only that. There was shock, but after the shock of the sudden scream, he felt her strength fading away. But aside from this, there was still something else that stopped Subaru from acting.
Spit it out!
That voice was trembling terribly. Hearing this, even without his memories, Subaru nonetheless felt its impact. The impact was not only because she had betrayed his impression of her, but because of another, indeterminate reason as well.
Please. Spit it all out.
Ram?
Please.
Softly, leaning her forehead against Subaru's chest, the girl spilled this out in a trembling voice. Having entirely lost the force of a moment ago, the only thing that remained was sorrow. She was not crying, because she was not so fragile. She was not grieving, because she was not so kind to herself. Only, held within that voice, was a sorrow that had no place to go.
To whom? Where? Or what was it pointed to?
Even if Barsu has forgotten, then Ram is... Then Rem... Then Rem... She...
Rem. That was the name of her little sister, sleeping in a bed in the green room, a sleeping princess who looked exactly like her. That girl, the older sister in front of him. Just what must have happened between Subaru and them? It was not something Subaru could imagine at this moment. All Subaru knew was that Ram was truly clinging onto something that Subaru had forgotten.
I'm sorry.
His arms dropping, watching her as she pressed her forehead against his chest so that he could not see her expression. Subaru quietly sent an apology her way.
Yay!
Amazing job, Connor. Oh my god.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Good job.
Connor.
Amazing narrators too. Like
Great job,
sick job today.
team.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You guys are doing great. You know, even though I had some issues with how that chapter was written out, the actual reading went really well.
Yeah, it's mostly the English Japanese flip that's really the tricky bit. But once we fix that up, like, I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
Yeah, that one's so weird because it's not even English flips. They just put in the Japanese words instead for
Yeah.
all of those. Like, except for one time when Subaru speaks and it is an English flip, the rest of them were just like all according to Keikaku moments.
Yeah.
Japanglish.
But
Also-
the chapter itself still works well. Like the narration's
Yeah.
solid otherwise.
Yeah.
For those of you viewing, I, for the first time ever, posted a light novel image while we're reading. Just because it's pretty good one. It's a pretty good one. We seem to be fine with light novel illustrations. This one was colored, I believe, by Cool Colin 007 on the ReZero subreddit. So I don't think this is Satoi's. But I just thought I'd post it up here so you guys get a nice representation of what was just acted a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's one of the
Poor Ram.
Not only poor Ram, but poor Julius.
Yeah, Julius is
Chris.
sitting there like eyes literally watering, getting ready to cry because he's been forgotten too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting
Completely
there
forgotten.
shell-shocked,
He's
bro.
lost the last part of his previous self to the world.
Rem's forgotten, Julius is permanently forgotten.
And it's not even him just being forgotten, it's him losing, I think, the only person he can actually really consider a friend. Right now.
Yeah.
Especially at this
Yeah.
point.
Because friendship is not a
Right after
one-sided
arguing.
thing, you know, it has to be reciprocatory, so...
I
think-
do appreciate Beatrice's just the attitude of, all right, well, I guess we're starting over. I'm gonna like work my magic again. It's fine. I'll deal with it.
I'll fix
It's
it.
okay. It's okay. You know what? I got this.
Classic Subaru.
It
I'll
also
have to choose him again.
It's so weird seeing the Arc 1 Subaru come out and then him being with such awkward social interactions that he just doesn't know how to respond.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, you have, like, he's already an awkward person who never feels like he belongs. He must feel so bad right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like the only person like he immediately gets along with is Melee, bizarrely. Of just like, oh, I get what this relationship is supposed to be, until he's dead wrong about that too.
Oh my god, her little wave was crazy. I never realized that. It's so fucking funny. Just, yeah, Subaru, she tried to murder us. No! Wave.
Guilty.
Doesn't deny.
To address someone in the chat asking about the Bokuko thing, so it's a habit of the Witch of Greed, Echidna, the one that Amelia and Subaru talk to, not the one that Beatrice and Roswell know.
Mm-hmm.
That she uses the young boy's personal pronoun of Boku for I and me when they speak, something that like children do, and it's like similar to tomboys in America. It's like a trend that some girls will have an attitude of like being mischievous or like a little tricksy, like you have to keep an eye on them, that they would use the pronoun Boku as well. And the fact that the scarf Echidna uses it often is, for Japanese readers, it's the key on when it's Anastasia and when it's Aridna speaking. So it's also confirmation that she's not using Anastasia's accent here at all. Which is probably tripping Rom and Amelia up a lot, but...
Yeah, I'm glad I figured it
As
out
she
on
said.
the fly.
Yeah, good catch on you.
I was
Nice.
sitting here like, oh god, oh god. Okay, we're gonna go for it.
Well, your instincts serve well.
Anastasia might do it too. I'm not positive on that, but she also has the Kansai dialect, which wasn't present in the dialogue here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dialogue didn't have the Kansai element to it.
Because what I've been doing with Anastasia is I put on like a thick southern accent just to kind of like deviate from my other characters that I've been playing. But like Allie, when she plays Echidna, she just goes from speaking like just having a southern accent, kind of like vernacular without the accent itself, to just like speaking normally and like I don't know, more eloquent.
Walk the fuck in.
Yeah, same voice.
I think it works.
But yeah. Hers sounds closer to the dub and closer to what I think Sandra Lee Morris will do. But mine's a little more apparent because I can't do that Anastasia voice.
I think your Aridna sounds like really close to dub Echidna personally. But
That's what I try to
that's
aim
just
for.
me.
With
I
that
try to get as
sentiment.
close to Aneris as possible just to make it a little easier to tell the difference. And also differentiate it from Amelia and Shala. Because otherwise, it's just me talking as me. And that's not useful.
I remember, sorry to like immediately deviate this, but just you mentioning Shala made me remember this. Reading this the first time, I was so certain that Shala was going to become Amnesia Baru's like closest ally and confidant.
Yeah.
Because she was the only one who was expecting him not to remember anything.
Yeah, like it changes.
And that he was
nothing
just
for
going to
the
like latch
relationship.
onto her. I was very scared for that to happen because I did not like Shala reading the first time. I despised her so much.
I love her. I've always loved her.
She's
I love
funny to me. Wait a minute.
You have made her funny, Kylie.
Thank you. I try. I love Shala. She deserves more. It's like a Liliana coded thing. You hate them when you read them in the web novel, and then if you get the right kind of vibe, you're like, okay, I'll deal with it. Like anime Liliana slaps so hard. Web novel Liliana makes me want to jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
I feel like Wolf also has that sentiment, if not more.
Yes, I do.
Well, not even just for web novel Liliana for Wolf, but now that we're back with Arc 1, Arc 2 Subaru, that has also made Wolf want to jump out of windows before. That is
Yeah.
on our Arc 2 live reads.
Hey, go
Oh
Chase.
yeah,
Oh
what
my
the?
God.
I think Arc 2 Subaru is
PR.
worse. I think Arc 1 is fine.
Oh, he's brutal. Arc 2 Subaru is the worst. He's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah, he's wild. It's like, I'm gonna rub my ass on this chair so I get a like secondhand contact with Amelia's butt. Kind of crazy.
Indirexito.
luckily, I think that sort of like just I don't know chavishness was gonna be not present for this Arc 1 Subaru just because of the whole oh man, what the hell? They're really looking up to me for some reason sort of thing going on.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Gives me a
even though
parent and child vibes.
it's very much this is Arc 1 Subaru, but because of the context and circumstances, he's gonna be like he's not gonna be the exact same as you've seen him before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
because
no like complex of oh wow I've just been summoned or oh wow this is the grandiose feeling of meeting new people in this new world. It's just what's going on?
Why is
yeah,
everyone
because
so
with
sad?
Arc 1 Subaru, as difficult as that was for him to go through the day 3 times and getting murked 3 different ways, he did go up in like difficulty as that time went on. He didn't start it off with getting thrown into a situation so difficult that none of them have any idea what to do here against Reed. Like he has been here. It's just a
Like if
total
it's like if he was
clusterfuck.
pitted up against Reinhardt instead day 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it really sucks for Subaru too because it's kind of alluded to a bit in the narration, but Subaru doesn't know who these people are, and they're projecting something onto him that he doesn't understand. So he already feels a distance with these people that he's finding hard to like comprehend with.
Yeah, I mean, just that final interaction with Rom alone. It's like you have a plan, right? You always have a plan. I get
And
why
then-
you didn't tell anyone else, but you can trust me. Tell me
And
what
then
it
her
is. I
blowing
know
up
you have a plan.
emotionally, and him just being like, "What can I say? I'm sorry."
Yeah, because we already knew that, like, Arc 1 Subaru had this problem, like, this huge problem of can't see what others see in him, right? And that was the whole thing that Rem had to get through to him with in the Arc 3 speech. And not only is that development gone, but literally everyone around him is going to be placing him on some sort of pedestal where he's just like, what the hell do you even see in me? What is this? You know, why?
And as a person who already has an inferiority complex, that's gonna be very dangerous for him.
Yeah.
It's got a stockpile.
Poor guy.
I mean, even just his narration, like of thinking about what Julius is feeling, makes me feel bad for Julius because he's not cussing him out for being a little bitch.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
a handsome young man.
God, he's so
really
handsome.
hope
Why is everyone here so
Yeah,
physically
why is everyone so
attractive?
attractive? Man, I hope I can be friends with
so-
that guy. He seems kind of cool, doesn't he?
Why did come on, Subaru? Why are you noting Shala as the only person in marriageable age when Julius is right there, bro? Come on. Come on.
Yo, so real. I love how Subaru, even in like Arc 1 Subaru is like, yeah, this naked girl's a bit too much for me. I'm just a poor little innocent virgin boy. Don't hurt me.
Please get away from me. Fierce woman. Secretly, that's what
He's
he
just,
is.
I mean, he got exposed to Elsa in Arc 1. Shala is just the equivalent for that. A, like, scantily clad,
Scantily
very
clad,
dangerous
but
woman.
Weirdo, but instead it's the different like end of weirdo.
It's a different interest.
Yeah.
At least she's not gutting him.
Yeah.
But she's gonna turn him into red mist whenever she crushes him and he can't dodge it.
Well,
Yeah.
he'd at least go to Valhalla.
At least.
But yeah,
Man.
weird to have Arc 1 Subaru back. It's even weird to see him with all of these characters that have not only like seen Subaru grow, but have had their own arcs and have changed too, right? Like, it's so weird. Like Beatrice is, I think,
And
the biggest
Ram being in
showing,
denial.
right? Like of how drastic her arc has been. So the interactions Beatrice is having with Subaru is so different to the ones that Subaru has with her in Arc 2.
Yeah, imagine
He doesn't
every
even get to
character
form
treating him in the
that
same
fun,
way.
like,
when they
jokey Bond
met.
thing with her, because she's already, like,
Yeah.
liking him.
Imagine she threw him out of the green room. All right,
Yeet.
let's start our meeting right back over. Here's how we start again. I throw you out of the green room.
He's like, ah!
I drain your mana.
Zap.
Yeah, especially with how the tower is set up with all of these different rooms and stairways and stuff. I have a feeling Subaru is gonna start being a bit more like, you know, what are people saying about me? Like, what's going on with all of this stuff? Because he's very isolated right now.
I mean, again, like that's the thing with. I guess, actually, not even Shala can get him out of this because he's also like, well, she's also seeing a different person in me than I actually am. There's nothing here that
There's
can
no
prop
one
him up
who knows
at
him for
all.
him. At least the him that he.
Yeah, he's
is now.
completely isolated. It would legitimately be better if like a random stranger walked in and it was like, hey, what's going on here? Like,
yeah,
because at least then he knows.
Because
oh,
then he
hey,
meets
you're just a
someone for
random
the first
dude.
time. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny
There's
thing
nothing-
is
there's no one
too,
for him.
is that even if he was to get out of this tower, hypothetically, right, and go do that, because he's now a famous hero, everyone would still have an impression of him. So he'd be fucked either way.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're the guy with the black hair. You're
the
you're
Lollymancer.
Satsuki
Lollymancer.
Wubaru.
Oh yeah, you're the guy who killed the white whale and supposedly the great rabbit, even though you have no proof of that, you probably lying fuck.
Oh, and you led the subjugation for like one of the biggest enemies of our entire kingdom that's lasted for generations too.
Yeah, and you defended the
Sloth.
merchant city.
And wasn't there something that just happened at Pristella?
Yeah,
like a few days ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're now the most
Oh.
recognized hero in all of Pristella, where every single citizen there knows who you are.
And they're gonna write stories about you for generations.
Generation on generation.
I mean, Liliana's probably written a song that people will pass down.
Like we've seen like his loop start here, and like obviously that can't change. Do you think it would have been better for him if it would have just Beatrice there when he woke up? To like have that point of let's just go forward and pretend like everything's fine. Like Betty will watch your back for you and like keep you sane through this.
I think it would have been better if it was just. Well, see, the problem is Emilia helps Beatrice recover from the shock of the situation quicker.
Yeah.
But maybe
Right,
Beatrice...
but Amelia is also the one who's just like, okay, we're just gonna go and tell everyone and explain it all, and as Rom is pointing out, almost coddling him about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like if it was just Beatrice, or maybe if it was even Ram, and they had that emotional outburst at first, and then they had a proper talk before it happened, it could have worked out differently too.
Yeah, because if she had seen him wake up and be like, "What? Would she have still been denial there?" Or
Well, she also seen him react like that a little bit in Arc 2, so that might hit a bit more on the head for her, and it might come through.
Yeah, the whole like waking up
Yeah.
immediately out of bed.
Yeah.
I think Rom probably would have still had a similar thing with her though, where she would have gone with his excuses at first and like went on with all of it.
To
and...
think of the plan thing, right?
Yeah, until she then again pulls away and says, "Okay, you've got everyone else convinced, but you can tell me what's going on now."
Yeah, you could trust me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to be
I
fair,
think
she's
at the very
actually
least it's just been one person.
she's calling back to the way their relationship was in Arc 4 in the Sanctuary too, right? By doing that,
Yes,
because
very
she was
much so.
his only ally,
Yeah.
really, for most of that time.
Whether he could trust her or not, she was still like on his side and helping him out. Like
Yeah, like
regardless
intentions or
for
not,
it.
she would regardlessly help him.
Yeah, now Roswell's not even in the picture, so
Yeah, fucking clown.
Well, that's why it's so much easier for her to help. I do love how much faith she does have in him, though. Like
Yeah, me too.
as much as they have this antagonistic friendship, that she just fully buys in. It's like, okay, like I know him well enough that this has got to be some elaborate plan that the others can't understand, but I can pick it up because I'm the smartest one here.
But this is, I think, in a way, it's also really bad that the first emotional breakdown happens with Ram like this because it places so much expectations on him.
It does, yeah.
Because
like
Ram is probably one of the people that believes in Subaru the most here, even though she doesn't actively show it.
I also don't think she would have even confronted him about the plan if he hadn't like made the mistake with the names for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like everyone gets the wrong name here.
Yeah.
Contract Co.
Yeah.
And Amelia.
Contract
Hearing you say Amelia Chan Wolf like drove nails into the back of my neck.
Yeah, that felt wrong.
Good.
That was
Good.
It is wrong.
That was the point.
Even
I
Amelia
really
was...
it's just ooh.
But it's a nice payoff from the last time that Super and Rom were interacting, where she was getting upset, like fake upset of him repeatedly calling her Nei-sama, older sister, like over and over again. Where clearly she immediately picks up that he has called me Rom. He has never only called me Rom. It's always been Ramchi or Nei-sama.
I think the only time
Yeah,
he
at the
said
start of-
Ram is like in a serious situation where he would use her name and not a nickname. And I think it's been very few occasions when he's done that.
I think that's also only in the dub. I don't think he actually says it in Japanese. Like, if he's not referring to them as Rom and Rem, he never calls her Rom to her face. Like, almost ever.
Yeah.
It was a weird
Even at
thing
the
I was picking up
start
back in
of
Arc 2.
Arc 2. Think about
He calls her pink hair for a while. He calls her pink twin for a while. He calls her every variation of older sister in Arc 2.
Yeah.
And he calls her
Yeah.
Ramchi. And it's like Ramchi, Roschi, and Remrin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Subaru
Or as
having
we did,
Yeah, 'cause he starts to be
Razi,
overly
Rami,
familiar, right?
and Remrin.
Yeah, Subaru not having his pet names to everyone is just, it drives a dagger into your heart. It really hurts because you could tell it's hurting all of the characters there too. Like the way Emilia reacts to being called Chan is so heartbreaking. Oh.
It's just
I went hard on that one.
ooh.
You did a great job. That drove that.
That was amazing.
Thank you. And I got to bring in depression.
We love that bit of depression.
Depression.
Depression arc
Sprinkle it
start.
in there.
Sprinkle it in. Tealdi did some good job with the depression arc too. Okay?
Yeah. I am
Thank
depressed
you.
child
You're
spirit.
welcome.
Yeah, she
Amelia
can bounce
Chan.
back. Yeah, Amelia Chan. So I want you to just also imagine how you feel about how cringy that sounds to the ear. Amplify
yeah.
that by 10, and that's how Amelia Tan was supposed to sound in the beginning.
Amelia
Just like
Tan.
how
We just got used to it. We got used to it.
yeah, you do get used to it.
Because then it becomes actually like
It's
an
like-
affectionate pet name instead of the cringy weird thing it is originally, right?
Yeah. Like in Arc 2,
Exactly.
all of the nicknames were all because he was trying to be like overly familiar at the start and be like, "Hey, everyone, please trust me," you know? And then they just stuck.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
For the most part.
But now we're back to hi Ramchat or Ramsan. Ugh. I don't know.
Disgusting.
You know, for the entirety of this arc, we should just be calling them by those names. On God,
Well,
instead of
it
saying
is
Amelia, we say Amelia Chan.
a little like behind the scenes thing here, just for additional context, because it can get tricky in some of the later chapters on how you read his name of Natsuki Subaru, because there starts to be like a delineation between like how it's written for him like in the moment versus the person that everyone remembers him to be.
Knows.
It's in a different character system, right?
Yeah, so it switches from how it's normally
Yes.
written to one of the other alphabets in Japanese. I won't go into the details on like the significance of that, other than
Yeah.
in English they would be read exactly the same. So like we were even considering like, do we have him be referred to as Subaru Natsuki for Amnesia Baru for all of this? And we still might go through and do that.
I think we might go through.
Natsuki Subaru and Subaru Natsuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to translate that difference in Japanese to English, and I think
It's
that's
impossible.
the best way. It's the best way.
Yes.
It's impossible to translate it when you speak it. We could write it differently and like use literally
in
a different
writing, there's
font.
just a bracket.
But...
Yeah, but you can't
Writing
get that
would be
across
different.
Speaking.
Exactly.
I think that would make sense. Subaru Natsuki is Amnesia Subaru, and Natsuki Subaru is, well, Peak Subaru.
Exactly.
But the confusion then
Yeah.
becomes not. He would still introduce himself as Natsuki Subaru,
Which
right?
way is
So-
which? Yeah. Because his introduction is I'm Natsuki Subaru, you know, right? Like that's his Arc 1 introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So it's just a
So-
question of like, do we like almost as like a fourth wall point of just explain he's going to call himself using like English ordering for his names for this. It's
Mhm.
just to help the reader differentiate stuff. But
I think,
we'll figure it out.
especially once we're editing that chapter in post, we might add that in. I think that's a very valid thing to do.
Mm-hmm. It's also
just,
not
like,
as
add
important
reverb.
now, but yeah, something like
You
that.
gotta reverb his name each time. It's Arc 6 proper Subaru. So you gotta have that. It's Natsuki Subaru, not Natsuki Subaru. You gotta make the distinction.
And like
The
a slight
grand
pause in
Natsuki
between each
Subaru
syllable.
versus the Arc 1.
Natsuki Subaru.
Natsuki
Subaru.
Natsuki
Okay.
Subaru.
While we're on this train of thought, let's come back. Let's finish 35.
Yeah.
Hell
Only
yeah.
15 pages for this one.
Right
Oh,
Not too crazy.
Al, you ready?
Yeah.
Voice actors, you ready?
Yep. So let me start
Hi.
crying again.
Hi.
I'm ready. Microphone. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I
Oh,
was
they
ready.
already
Microphone
did
was
the
not. We're good.
They're already doing the Natsuki Super stuff in like the third paragraph in this.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'm glad I mentioned that.
Here to make you cry. Think of the fact, Connor, that we did this without you fixing the translations. Now you can
So
cry
just
again.
to confirm again, we're currently not switching up the order, or
Not yet. No, we'll do that in
Yeah, okay.
post.
We'll do that in post.
Yeah.
All right, whenever you're ready, take us away, Al.
Arc 6, Chapter 35. Thin Ice Relations.
Subaru knows how painful it is to be forgotten. So, forgetting someone, he would never joke about something like that.
On their way back to the room, Subaru inadvertently held his breath when he heard the voice from inside. Even though he was unable to see the speaker, he knew from the voice, beautiful like a silver chime, that it was Amelia. Listening to her say his name in her slightly tense voice, Subaru could not avoid straining his cheeks into an awkward smile. Carried within that voice was a powerful trust and an equally powerful plea. It was from Amelia to Natsuki Subaru, and certainly not to this Natsuki Subaru. He acutely understood this now, as he had in the previous exchange.
Would never joke about something like that. Yes. Never thought I would say this. Amelia-sama is right.
Also hearing that voice, Ram, who accompanied Subaru, whispered this self-derisive comment under her breath. Unlike Subaru, who was carrying the water-filled bucket, she was empty-handed and holding her elbows, her nails digging into her white skin, almost like a reminder to herself, or regret, and an extension of the pain of an unfulfillable vow.
Ram.
It was a pointless joke. Forget you ever heard it. It will only worry Amelia-sama if you bring it up. So, for the sake of Ram's impeccable reputation, keep it to yourself. If you dare mention it... Seems you really don't remember.
If he dared mention it, something scary would come to pass. That was probably what she was trying to say, or perhaps she had been expecting Subaru to counter with a quip before she did so. Just like before, when the connection between her and her younger sister had been brought up, he thought he saw a glimpse of disappointment flashing across her pale red eyes, but that sadness disappeared in an instant. The fact that she would not let him tell anyone, was it because Ram was too strong for that, or because she was too weak? He did not know what lay in the depths of her heart. Only faintly on the center of Subaru's own chest, there was still a lingering trace of where her head had rested.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. We have returned.
Without giving him any time to think, Ram resumed her steps and headed into the room. That stubborn attitude might just be Ram expressing her insistence on the matter. Seeing this, Subaru had no choice but to respect her feelings and not mention the matter. When Subaru entered a few steps behind her, a somewhat strained atmosphere spread throughout the room, but even so, it was still a tad better than immediately after Subaru made his shocking revelation. As proof of that, after Amelia greeted the returning Subaru with,
So sorry.
Al, you read it unless like the line starts with Amelia colon.
Yeah. As proof of that, after Amelia greeted the returning Subaru with thanks for the hard work, the next voice that followed after was...
Earlier, I showed you an unsightly side of me. Would it be fine if we start over?
I'm the one who surprised you with... no, I shouldn't have interrupted you. Please go on.
There is no need to be so restrained. If you are so formal with me, I will not feel at ease.
Saying this, a faint smile emerged on the purple-haired youth, Julius's face. Earlier, he had been the one who had turned pale at Subaru's revelation. Subaru was unaware of what Amelia and Beatrice might have told him while Subaru was gone fetching water, but he had seemed to recover enough to speak. Only there were still the words Ram said to him in the corridor. Upon being asked by Julius, she said that Subaru was too cruel. Just what could she have meant by that?
Let us start again. I am Julius Juculius. This is Anastasia-sama. I serve as her knight, and you are like a friend of sorts.
I see. Nice to meet you. But why did that last part not feel very confident there?
Unfortunately, we might have had a slightly different understanding of our relationship. I myself think of you as a friend, but as for what you think of me, that is,
Literally lost to memory.
That is quite true.
Picking up a certain elegance in his words and conduct, Subaru bent his lips. According to Amelia and the others, this was a journey into treacherous environments, so naturally, as the only other male member of the company, there must have been some considerable trust between them. But then again, considering Julius's knightly air and their exchange just now, even without memories, Subaru could imagine his previous self having made a terrible first impression.
It's alright. There's no need to worry. Subaru and Julius are really good friends. We were there, so we can all attest to that.
That's right! There's no reason to be so worried about this, is there? Neither Oni-san's already got plenty of other problems to worry about.
Watching their exchange, Amelia cut herself in with her hands on her hips, and Meili mockingly concurred with a mischievous look in her eyes. Whereas Amelia's words were purely out of concern for Subaru and Julius's first meeting, Meili seemed to be insinuating something entirely different altogether. Subaru furrowed his eyes when he heard this, and while Julius nodded as if having understood her meaning.
Well, yes. What Meili has said is correct. Subaru, although we do need to discuss what happened to you, it is not the only problem we are presently faced with. In this regard, please allow me to explain. Would it be related to Anastasia-sama's strange behavior this morning? Your observation is correct, Miss Rom.
Ram said this, leaning against the wall, and Julius slightly cast down his eyes in reply. Seeing this, Ram narrowed her eyes towards Anastasia and let out a small sigh.
Barasu, give me the water bucket. I will begin preparing the meal.
Aren't we about to discuss something important?
I will still be in the same room, so I can still hear everything. Working will help me take my mind off of things.
Briskly saying this, Ram snatched the water bucket from Subaru's hand and headed towards the luggage-filled corner of the room. Then they saw her slender back setting about exactly that task.
Sorry. Ram, she isn't usually like this. Of course, there is no need to mind. It is understandable that she would feel this way. Seeing the desired information one cannot wait to pull out of another's throat suddenly flies so far away. Anyone would feel this way.
Anastasia calmly shook her head to Amelia's apology, and hearing Anastasia's reply, both Amelia and Beatrice made a difficult expression. Subaru was not cognizant of what might have crossed their minds, but the answer to that soon came from Anastasia's own mouth.
Now then, even though after all the confusion this morning, I would honestly not wish to burden you with any more surprises. I do not think that keeping it hidden would only sow the seeds of discord for the road. Therefore, if your accepting soil would permit it, allow me to confide something in you.
Such a pompous and roundabout manner of speech, in fact. Hurry up and get to the point, I suppose.
There is no need to be so frightened, Beatrice. One could say we're as close as sisters, you and I. In fact, it is just as you guessed.
Beatrice's cheeks froze at Anastasia's words. Standing beside Subaru, as if naturally seeking something to rely on, the young girl's fingers lightly grasped onto Subaru's sleeve. Subaru cast her a side glance, and after some hesitation, took her hand. The tips of her fingers were faintly quivering from the shock, but soon, the small palm accepted this warmth in turn.
Your relationship with your contractor is indeed amicable and ideal. I wish I could have had the same perfect relationship with Anna, but unfortunately, it is not going so well. You're addressing Anastasia-san like you're talking about someone else. So, that means you're... yes, you guessed correctly. Right now, the consciousness inhabiting this body is not Anna's. Anastasia Hoshin is sleeping deep inside this body, and the one addressing you now would be something of a deceased ghost that has temporarily taken over this fleshly form.
Amelia's breath choked up, and Beatrice held tighter onto Subaru. Julius's face was covered with pain at her confession, and Meili still looked as bored as ever. Only Shala, sitting cross-legged by Meili, was completely aloof to the conversation, with her attention solely focused on Ram, who was preparing the meal. With her back turned, no one could make out Ram's expression as she continued about her work. Lastly, for Subaru...
What are you guys talking about? I didn't get any of that.
Left all the way behind, naturally, he could only make a difficult expression.
The body of the girl named Anastasia.
The body of the...
Wait,
is that a narration line?
Yeah, I can't tell, actually.
It's probably supposed... this happened in the last one, too. When it does this at the beginning of one, it's the narrator setting up... Or not even the narrator. It's the author explaining the scene. That's
I'm
still
so sorry.
That's still supposed to be Al.
Oh.
Okay. The body of the girl named Anastasia Hoshin was now dominated by an entirely different existence, while her own consciousness was in deep sleep. Simply put, that was what Anastasia, or rather the spirit by the name of Echidna, had explained. It seemed that fact had been quite shocking to Amelia and Beatrice, while for Subaru, rather than shock, it only served to exacerbate his confusion. Subaru barely had any impressions of Anastasia in the first place, and then being told that the person who had been described as Anastasia upon first meeting was actually someone else?
Is that so? That's pretty big news, isn't it?
He could not exactly give a reaction in any way other than like it was someone else's affairs. No doubt, it was only from the reactions of those around him that he figured that this was a pretty serious situation. After all, they had come to this tower for a reason. It was in order to find a way to save the sleeping girl and to help those people stuck with some unknown disease that they came here. Or at least, that was what he had been told.
We barely just got here, and the key people are already falling apart. Barasu dropped his memory somewhere, and Anastasia-sama's consciousness is deep in an abyss.
It doesn't look good at all.
Listening to Ram's blunt remark, Subaru dejectedly held his head. The problems were just piling up. Subaru had not even sorted out his own mess, and more difficulties just kept coming. They were going nowhere. In that case...
Everyone, I think if we hang our heads like this, we won't solve anything. I understand the frustration. I do. But we can't let our spirits down. A lot of people's hopes are riding on us coming to this tower. What happens to Subaru and Anastasia-san, that's a big deal, but...
Amelia stopped her words, clapped her hands together, and gathered everyone's attention to herself. Then, after pausing a beat, she scanned her amethyst eyes over everyone present.
We can't stop here. We must not give up. That's what I've always been taught.
Amelia said this firmly as she looked at each member's face in turn. Her gaze lastly fell on Subaru, who held his breath as she was pierced by their amethyst charm. Naturally, his chest heated up. He did not know what to say, but he could see the expectation in her eyes. Receiving it and feeling like he must do something, Subaru tightened his fist.
Hurts, in fact. Hey, Subaru!
My bad. No! Not bad! Because this is proof of my determination!
If you say that with a straight face, it still hurts when it hurts, I suppose. Reflect on your actions now, in fact.
Sorry. Hurting you was my bad. But my determination was not! Yeah! That's right!
Subaru apologized to Beatrice's protests that her delicate wrist was being squished, but he quickly shook his head. He could see that the situation was worrying, but simply worrying about unsolvable problems would not make progress at all. Subaru knew this from personal experience, in fact. If Subaru were alone, he would have certainly lost his way, but he was not alone. Even if he had forgotten everything on his end, Amelia and the others were still there for him to call upon, and so...
It's true. My memory slipping away all of a sudden has caused you a lot of trouble. I'm sorry about that. But that doesn't mean it's hopeless. Think of it another way. Who knows? Maybe now that I'm freed of the unnecessary fetters and ready to burst out with new ideas, like a fresh spring or something, then that might give us a clue on how to break out of this mess. Right?
That's quite a progressive take on it.
I mean, would you rather go backwards instead? All the important things are ahead of us. They say the goddess of fortune only shows her bangs, you know? Besides, when it comes to capturing this tower, maybe we need to come up with a more flexible idea. One that isn't confined by the conventions of this world. Like an idea from another world!
Anastasia wryly smiled at that momentous remark, or rather, Echidna was being pushed back by an even more momentous retort. Even though he was just bluffing, what he said was right, and there was a need to break out of the current atmosphere. Listening to Subaru's thoughts, the difficult expressions on everyone's faces began to change.
That's right. Subaru's always gotten over all sorts of trouble like this. So this time, he'll definitely get through it too.
Oh! That's the spirit! Though, that kind of sounds like I have to do all the work here. But since you're counting on me, I'll do my best. Such a cute girl is cheering me on after all.
Thank you, Subaru. I'm glad. Subaru is Subaru after all.
Hearing Amelia's whisper as she put a hand to her ample chest in relief, Subaru was almost caught off guard.
Subaru is still Subaru, after all.
Hearing her sigh of relief from the bottom of her heart, Subaru felt relieved as well. He thought it was all right. Little by little, this self would be able to fill the hole left by the Natsuki Subaru she knew. If he could just do that, then he should be able to smooth over all the jumbled relationships here.
Well, now, that sure is optimistic.
Huh?
Just when Subaru was relieved by Amelia's words, Julius suddenly interrupted. Sensing Subaru's gaze, he shrugged and loosened his lips with nothing.
I just thought, memories or not, it is still as impossible as ever to tell whether you are brave or reckless. On the other hand, perhaps you would only think this because you've forgotten the enormity of the obstacle we are facing.
Hey, why is there always some sarcastic attitude from you? Unless... No way! Is that just your true nature? Julius-san! I mean, just Julius!
I see. It's just as Amelia-sama said. Memories or not really does not matter. One's nature is not so easily changed.
I guess I can kind of imagine what kind of relationship we had now. We must be more comfortable with each other than anything else, huh?
They were not harsh words of malice, but an exchange of friendly jabs. Nevertheless, Subaru was convinced that there had been a certain sense of distance between them. His initial impression had not been erroneous. Subaru and Julius must not have liked each other very much on the first meeting, but afterwards, through various things they had experienced together, their relationship must have improved to the point where they could travel to this tower together.
Then, I'll be counting on you, Julius, until I get my memories back. I'll trouble you for a little longer.
Yes. It cannot be helped. Well then, I will resign and accept this as my duty. Memories are just a trivial matter. I see. That's right.
Julius quietly nodded to Subaru's friendly address, and the topic ended there. His memories had been lost, and problems just kept coming. This definitely was not a situation one would want to greet with a sunny disposition. That was fact. But to face it nonetheless was a testament to his strength.
When the person in question is not all that concerned, perhaps it's a grace as well.
I just don't show it! There's actually a whole storm churning in my chest right now! But I'll take the opportunity to get healed by some alone time with Amelia-chan later!
Huh? You want a lap pillow?
No. I'm sorry. Isn't that, a bit rushed?
After saying so, with his chest pumped up and in a bright mood, Subaru suddenly shrunk. Not expecting Amelia to be so willing to give him such tender healing, his heart started cowering in fear. Moreover, it would be a lap pillow. Naturally, his gaze fell onto her soft-looking white thighs.
It's ready. Come help carry it, Perversu.
Ouch!
Feeling something kick the back of his knees, Subaru let out a wail on the spot and collapsed to the floor. All the while, Ram looked down on him with a look of disdain, as if chastising him for his indecency.
Your useless positivity is one of your only virtues, Barasu. Use that positivity to set up the food, as well for cleaning, tidying, and various other chores.
That's just because Ram wants to slack off.
Ooh, Master, I'll help as well! Food! Food!
Subaru's protests regarding Ram's forceful transfer of responsibilities were immediately drowned by Shala's pressing desire for sustenance. Seeing Shala beginning to carry out the plates, Subaru had no choice but to join in the preparations.
Let's see the menu! That kinda just looks like preserved rations.
In fact, they are precisely preserved rations. The few fresh foods Amelia-sama brought over have already ran out, so the diet will be quite bland for the foreseeable future.
Well, hopefully we can capture the tower quickly and get back to somewhere more populated.
He had heard someone say that people's hearts would only be at ease once ample food and clothing were available. In that sense, he was unsure just how well they could live in this tower. Particularly in regards to food, with his memory absent, Subaru's only impression of this parallel world's cuisine was the taste of preserved rations. which was rather miserable.
Sorry to bring this up while you are eating, but there is something I want to confirm with you, Natsuki-kun.
Hungry. What? Me? Something you wanted to ask me?
Role-playing as someone who had been treated like a slave and given nothing but miserable scraps ever since he was summoned to this parallel world, Subaru protested against the injustice, but he stopped eating upon hearing Akina's words.
It is nothing. But while I apologize for bringing this up when everyone is united and facing over our situation positively, I would like Natsuki-kun to share a bit more with us about what happened to him. After all, your memories were the only ones that have been affected by this tower. Conversely, who knows if the same thing might happen to any of our memories as well.
Right. Makes sense. Even though having the person involved to it might be a bit difficult, amnesia can be pretty inconvenient, you know.
The way you say it makes me wonder if you really see yourself as being involved, I suppose.
Seeing Subaru nod in agreement, Beatrice could only manage a baffled expression. However, Akina's concerns were reasonable, and the truth was that Subaru also needed to know how he lost his memories. The clues to restoring his memories must be tied to how he had lost them in the first place. At the table, to Subaru's right was Beatrice, and to his left was Amelia. Those two were at his side when he woke up. He wanted to know just what kind of memories could have prompted them to sit there of their own accord, and to place him in such baseless trust and warmth.
Or rather, it's that I need to remember, because it's my duty. But still, from what I was told, I woke up without remembering anything. Amelia-chan and everyone, where exactly did you guys find me?
Well... You were nowhere to be seen in the dragon carriage this morning, and we couldn't find you either in any of the rooms on the 4th floor, so we got pretty worried.
Subaru's curiosity was piqued by the expression dragon carriage, but he did not open his mouth in fear of interrupting Amelia's story. Perhaps it was the lizard in the green room. It had something to do with that ground dragon. They did look like the type that you'd see from a horse-drawn cart. He would have to put off his curiosity and wanting to see the real thing, though.
He was not at her wit's end as much as Amelia was, in fact. I was just bothered that I couldn't figure out where you, my contractor, was within the strange tower, I suppose. That's why I went with her to search around the tower for you. And after that...
And after that?
We found you collapsed in the White Library on the 3rd floor, and then brought you to the green room.
Subaru breathed out an after hearing Amelia and Beatrice's joint explanation.
The 3rd floor is one of the many floors within this tower. We are presently on the 4th floor. We are going through them trying to reach the 1st floor, which is the topmost floor. That we have already made it past the 3rd floor was thanks to none other than your knowledge.
Thanks for explaining. Thanks to my knowledge, you say?
Julius filled in for the missing details. Even so, for Subaru, the content seemed to be quite lacking in credibility. Nevertheless, in reply to Subaru's reaction, Amelia continued where he'd left off with a, yeah.
That's really how it happened. All we heard was gibberish, but you were able to solve it all by yourself, Subaru. You're really amazing.
Thank you. Hey, no one says gibberish these days anymore.
Huh?
Did I say something weird?
Though Subaru had tried to awkwardly compliment Amelia, she remained silent as if something was up with her. For a split second, he could see the traces of some strong emotion flicker across her eyes. yet he had no idea what it meant. At any rate, he could not keep up with them, as if they were ripples rippling across a pond.
By the way, you said that I collapsed and that you brought me to that grassy room?
That room is protected by a special spirit. That spirit has the power to heal people's wounds. That is why we've laid Ram down there too, in fact.
Okay, gotcha. So, that's also why you brought me there. By the way, what are the chances that I lost my memories due to that room?
Well,
Subaru batted one of his eyes shut as Amelia faltered in response, looking like she had not thought of that. Though this was only a hunch of his regarding the intentions of this spirit, or whatever. While those may be unknown, if it took the form of a plant, then he could not discount it as having some kind of cruel nature. Flowers were pretty and filled with sweet nectar to get insects to carry their pollen, but they could also be like carnivorous plants who camouflaged themselves to snare in insects to slurp the life out of them. It could have slurped his memories out of him instead of healing him. There was a chance of that.
it is quite the wild idea, but I heavily doubt that. In that case, something weird would have happened to me first far quicker, considering I've been in that room far longer than you have.
That something strange hasn't got anything to do with the original body's owner not waking up?
Regarding Anna, that happened before we came to the tower. Her condition has nothing to do with the green room. And also, that is correct. The ground dragon in the room has not forgotten about you, correct?
Huh?
That ground dragon is awfully attached to you. Suppose, for argument's sake, that the spirit in the room had a bad habit of slurping out people's memories. Do you think she would have probably given you the cold shoulder?
Following Echidna's words, Super recalled the ground dragon that had nestled up to him just after he had woken up from slumber. For sure, that ground dragon had been extremely friendly towards him. If the reason behind that was because she had originally been his ground dragon, then that made complete sense. Though what she had stated also surprised him.
That ground dragon is a she?
Let's get back on topic. The chances of that room working such wickedness on you are not high at all. As far as I'm concerned, it is the room you collapsed in that is far more of a problem. All of you said he came to the library of Tegida on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, that's right. Subaru collapsed on the white floor in that room.
As she reflected on that moment, Amelia gripped her wrist tightly.
I carried you to that room all in a rush, and then tried to go call everyone, but...
Woke up during that time and found himself in this condition, in fact. Therefore, it would be difficult to imagine that the Green Room did this, even time-wise, I suppose. It happened in that library, as I thought.
If something had happened, then this library, or whatever, was the source behind it. It seemed like they had reached a common point of view, but Subaru did not really get it. Perhaps because it was hard for him to imagine what kind of room this division they called a library really was.
Tegeda? What kind of room is this Library of Tegeda? The name sounds somewhat familiar.
That library is a room containing the Books of the Dead.
The Books of the Dead? Hey, that also sounds like some chunny shtick.
Helping aside his interest for the name Tegeda, Subaru sunk his teeth into the use of the term Books of the Dead. Seeing his reaction, Julius gave a curt nod and then continued to speak, saying, "We have no concrete confirmation."
But in this library, there are myriads of books bearing the names of people from all around the world who are now deceased. To read the books, you must be qualified to do so. It is most likely the kind of thing where you can only read the books about the deceased you had some connection with.
Again, with the bad taste, what is written in those books?
the life of the respective deceased, more or less. Intense thoughts swoop through your mind as if they were being scorched in. It's really not a matter you want to put yourself through over and over deliberately.
There was a weight to Julius's words in his explanation, which could only have been expressed by someone who personally experienced the sensation. It seemed to Subaru that the memories of the dead were not something he wanted to have scorched into his mind. To put it frankly, experiencing this sort of shock was not something that he was keen to do. Then, if he had collapsed in a library where such experiences were possible...
Was I reading one of those books too when I collapsed? No way. So, could something like that have damaged my mind?
I cannot completely rule out the possibility. About that, Sage, what do you think? Are you perhaps talking about me?
While nodding at Subaru's guess, the Echidna turned to face Shala with a meaningful look in her eyes. As well as that meaningful look, Sage was a really disproportionate way of referring to her. Were he to speak without restraint, Shala looked like the furthest thing from a sage in this room.
No matter how many times you say that, my answer's not changing. I don't know anything about the tower, except its rules. I was just told to be strict with rule breakers. No matter what Master does in the tower, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
I don't know why Shula's calling me something like a master in the first place, but...
Be relieved. Boris's response is the same as before his memories were lost. You were just using this without saying anything because it is convenient for you. So gross.
You can't just jump to such a convenient conclusion!
Faced with Shala's gaze, Subaru couldn't help but express his bewilderment, which, with no word of exaggeration, showed a max level of affection. Sure, it might be nice to get close with such a glamorous beauty, but when he thought about it ordinarily, but not knowing where her favor was coming from only created more confusion in him. Besides, her affection and favor made him feel strangely uneasy. It was something fundamentally different to the sincere feelings Amelia and Beatrice showed him, though he didn't know, currently, whether this was a harmful effect of his memories being gone.
In any case, that library you mentioned feels suspicious. If you're saying there might be clues in there that will get my memories back, then I reckon it's worthwhile going there to check.
Yes, we should. Our situation is one that even in the best of times, we have had one problem after another. Problems that plague us have seldom been few. Besides, with the circumstances becoming like this, you must honestly realize...
Realize what?
Just how much you've been making up for us.
His eyes still closed, Subaru let out a small snort at Julius's words. His laugh hadn't been out of awkwardness, but a strained one that came from deep within how he felt. They were really overestimating him. Armageddon must be nigh for them to be relying so much on Natsuki Subaru. Bad things came in threes, and once again Subaru had been made aware of how much of a hindrance he was, a trait he had averted his eyes to. It was as if he were saying, "You have become such a considerable burden."
Anyways, I'd like to go to the library after we finish eating, and if the memories I lost are scattered about there, then I'd like to go pick them up and stuff them back in my mind.
Jeez, that's an odd way of putting it. It's so just like Subaru.
I'm guessing the way you're saying it is just that it isn't really a compliment, right?
Amelia gave the flustered Subaru a small smile as she said that. The atmosphere around the place relaxed just a tad as he received it. They'd come up with a plan, and it felt like they were, in true sense, moving forward a bit.
I'm sorry to interrupt you when the mood's like this, but there is just one more thing I want to investigate Natsuki-kun with.
Well, you can go on ahead now that you've said this much. What is it?
Well, this is merely a curiosity of mine, which is not at all related to your memories or capturing the tower. But despite that...
Echidna began to stroke her wavy hair, and with an adorable look on her face, compounded by a look of deep intelligence in her turquoise eyes, she asked,
What does that term you speak quite often of, parallel world, mean?
and that's the chapter.
Yay!
Oh my god. Al, I don't know
It
how
was-
you did it, but when
Yay.
you shouted Max, it sounded like it reverberated and echoed. I was laughing for like 3 minutes.
I heard your laugh peek through.
Your laugh peeked through, and I laughed because of that.
I heard the giggle over the mic as I was speaking. I was like, okay, yeah. Mike, peek, what happened?
No, Al, when you said Max, you said it in such a way
Max,
that I
Max,
was.
Max.
Yeah, it was like a soundbite. Just for
Exactly, that's what I was
perspective on
gonna
that,
go for.
if it's written like that, 90% of the time, it's because Tape actually threw the English letters in there, like EMT or EMA and stuff like that.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
I was
He
thinking
just-
of it like a video game like meter going up.
I was
No,
thinking
it
that
is.
too.
No, it is like what it's supposed to be, like
Oh,
the
okay.
max amount. It's like they just use the English characters for it. Or Roman
Interesting.
characters, I guess.
That's funny.
Tapei does that very often
That's-
in his work.
Yeah, you will see that with like bad end oftentimes too when he mentions that, is it's
Mhm.
written in English. Or Romanji, however you want to describe it.
When Tina do the
Set up a
Dark Souls
soundboard
reference,
for those.
you died.
We need a soundboard for Max. That was amazing.
The Max.
Also,
to go back and listen to what it sounded like.
that now they're asking, what does a parallel world mean? And no one's asked him that before, even normal Subaru.
No.
I feel like
Because he
normal
hasn't
Super.
mentioned
I
it.
don't remember him. Yeah, he doesn't really.
He
mention
has, I think, just in erased timelines.
Well, it was like mentioned briefly with Echidna, but it seemed that she already understood and didn't ask further about it.
Further about
Otherwise,
it,
he
yeah.
just says like, "I'm from an island to the east of here," and then got confusion. Where it's
Yeah.
like, there's nothing east of here.
Yeah, but he got told that in his first loop, and that doesn't exist anymore. So, well, he told that to Amelia in his first loop, so that doesn't exist anymore. So there is like no
They were like,
history
"Oh,
of him
okay."
talking really about it. Like he's muttering to himself.
Yeah. Since
People
then, he
think
just
he's
describes it
separate.
as my hometown.
Yeah.
Don't they briefly mention it in some cut stuff in Arc 3? When he's talking with Al and Priscilla?
They don't. They talk about being like from beyond the Great Waterfall, is how
Yeah.
Priscilla mentions it.
Yeah, but it's not a wider
But
thing
not
that
Red
his
Ring of Fate
allies know.
Yeah. So she's aware, but no one else is.
Hmm.
Although it's been implied a couple times on and off throughout the web novel that he has explained this to Beatrice and she hasn't fully grasped it. I think they will go into that.
Yeah,
in the next
it's.
chapter, though.
I think it's more Beatrice hasn't really
yeah.
fully understood what he means.
I mean, how could
Because he
you?
had to have, to explain like a bunch of Subaruisms that she knows.
He's just
Yeah,
explained
like,
loads of
she'll
random
use them now.
things. Yeah.
I think it's also been implied that Puck understands where he's from before, but he's been gone for so long that it's hard to verify
Yeah.
that.
Fucking
That's
Puck.
also more the mystery of Puck
God.
knowing as much information as he knows, right? Like,
Well, I mean, that would come from him coming from Echidna. and
yeah,
she
but
Yeah.
clearly understands that there are other worlds out there.
yeah.
I swear to God, the next time we're gonna get Puck back, it's gonna be in like Endgame, and he's gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna hear
I'm back from
drop a lore
cigarettes,
bomb on you for some
guys.
reason." Yeah, I got back from cigarettes. Here's a lore bomb. Also, I'm gonna go again. Bye. And then he fucks off and does something else. Like he goes to Gesteco and gets more milk.
Oh, by the way,
I
Amelia,
think
I've
he's going to
replaced
be
you. I
coming
found
back
another
sooner
half
than we
elf.
think.
Not another half elf. The one from My Bad Fair Lady.
Yeah,
Mind
fun
broken,
chapter.
Amelia. My dad unadopted me.
He already did that. He broke
Unadopted?
up with her in Arc 4. This is
Yeah,
this
that
is a fun one. A lot nicer than the super heavy like I'm letting everyone down and this is like a tragedy with Rom from last one.
Hmm. Although there has been interlacings of his self doubt and depression in there.
Very
That
true.
one
the
line where
whole-
he's starting to think
Subaru's still Subaru.
each time Subaru's trying to take it as a compliment, but it's hurting him more and more when people keep saying stuff like
And it's
that.
like, oh, I guess I
Yeah.
haven't changed or gotten any
And
better, huh?
This is something because now this has happened, I'd like to talk about this a bit more, where like it's a really interesting like character study thing where Amnesia Baru here is starting to have his inferiority complex towards his father flipped towards his previous self.
Mhm.
And that phrase, you're just like your dad, or whatever it is kind of being replaced with
you
that's
really
just
are your
like
father's
Subaru.
son.
You really are. Subaru is Subaru, you know? It's actually like an actual like flip on his inferiority complex. It's really interesting.
Yep. Like everyone's like, oh, you mean he's still him, even though like his
He's
memories
so
are gone,
amazing,
and that
like-
almost seems to be like an encouragement for Julius. Like you are still like the person I'm friends with. I'm
Yeah.
relieved about that.
Yeah, like I've not lost my friend forever, kind of thing.
And it's you know they all mean well. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, it hurts.
When you see Subaru's perspective, it's like a gut punch.
Yeah, especially
And
the
then
internal
Amelia
dialogue
got
with
gut
it.
punched.
Yeah. Like, and him thinking it's my duty to get my memories back. If I don't get my memories back, I'm failing these people too.
Yeah.
Because I'm not bringing back the Subaru they need.
God, how
It's
much
like-
of a shit situation are we in that people are needing to rely on me? Like this
Yeah.
must be really bad.
Like, you know, 3
And then
strikes and you're
plus
out,
hearing,
and they've
like-
all striked and called me amazing and relying on me, but they are going to be disappointed.
Yeah. It's especially because they noted him and Anastasia as like the key people
The key
in this
people.
expedition. He's like, what do you mean? Well, me?
Well, 'cause-
Why are you guys all following me?
Because Julius is competent, right? And he knows a lot of things, but he's not like a
Mm-hmm.
strategist like Anastasia or Subaru are.
Not in the grand scheme of things. He can come up with like strategies
come up with
for,
strategies
like,
in a
fights
fight.
and like more
Yeah.
minor situations, but
It's for long term. It's
He has
It's
knowledge
all
that he can
Subaru,
share
really.
that can help like shape plans, but he can't really use that knowledge on the fly to make a long-term plan.
sure can't.
And oh god, because we've always been like thinking about, hey, I wonder how, or from the outside, not watching all the return by deaths, Subaru must seem like a pretty crazy individual to all like the
Genuinely a
people of Lagunica.
superhero. Like
Yeah, genuinely a superhero, and now he doesn't know about that, and he's got to be compared to the past self that did all this shit, and he's like, wait, how did I manage that as just a normal? How did I manage that as just me?
Yeah, and this is an interesting like contextual thing to think about. If he does return by death, right? Like, is he gonna think that that's a power that he, Amnesia Baru, has, and it's not a thing that Subaru has? And so, if he does, would that then mean that he's gonna think that the whole point is that that's to make up for him not being the previous Subaru, basically?
Like a crutch?
Like a crutch, almost. Yeah, like, what would the way I'd describe it be? It'd be like it's almost making like patching up the hole. Like
The
okay,
baby moding him, right?
Yeah, like easy mode tutorial. Like, okay, this guy could do all of these amazing things. You're not quite that level, so we're gonna give you like the tutorial mode engaged on or whatever.
He must have
because
so
it's like,
much
oh, you
God
literally get
effect now.
infinite retries.
Yeah. Yeah, just a load of traumatic things for you all to think about at home.
Yay!
Yep. Like, legitimately, the best thing for, well, technically, quote unquote, the best thing for the people around him to try and do is to try and just, keep his mind off of it. Like, just trying to snap him out of, like, keep on talking to him or something, or just to have stuff keep on happening so he doesn't have time to ruminate on all this. Because if he's just thinking about all this stuff, he's gonna get pretty self-deprecating.
Even normal Subaru is not a very mentally healthy person at all times, but Arc 1 Subaru is an entirely different ballpark of bad mental health, right? So
He's a walking inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Like it's all that he exists as. It's just like I'm not good enough for any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to his credit, the way that he has just kind of been his natural self has put everyone else enough at ease that it seems like they haven't like completely been devastated by this interaction.
Which is great for them, but again, I think Subaru is thinking this and is like, oh wow, they put that much faith in the previous me? Like, again, what sort of magic was he using that's working? Not realizing that him doing what he is doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. And even if those around him are like, oh yeah, it's still him. Sometimes when, like the little things show, like where he said, who even says that anymore? And Amelia, her face falls for a sec. That's also like, oh, did I touch upon something that past me, said? What's going on here? Is this really me? Is this how did I like, there's so much that just goes on there each time like he touches upon one of those where it's just, oh, that's another gut punch.
I mean, yeah, like if anyone gives him context on the things that the previous Subaru has done, like all of these great heroic things, Subaru is gonna think, what the fuck? I can't do that. I'm a normal guy. Like, what?
Yeah, like what isekai power up did I get? Come on.
Yeah.
Because at least this time he got to see the maiden that he was looking for back in Arc 1 that summoned him.
Yeah.
Two of their laps this time.
Fair maidens upon his summoning.
She rung a summoning bell and he spawned in.
How many shots we took for Amethyst Eye, Silver Bell.
Yeah, the fucking
or Matter of Course.
Silver Bell, Matter of Course, Amethyst Eyes. Like that was. I actually have a cider next to me, so we are at 6 drinks so far for this chapter.
Holy crap!
Oh, what kind of cider though? Come on.
Angry Orchard hard cider.
Ooh,
it's nice.
Good choice.
Connor
Oh, that's a good
I thought
one.
I heard
Yeah,
something
it's a good
clinking.
This early in the morning?
Hey, if there's any time to do it, it's now on the weekend.
It's 2 p.m.
Oops.
Yeah, it's afternoon. It's
on
fine.
a Saturday.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Just be sloshed the entire day.
Fuck,
You have never
yeah.
been to a lake party then. A proper like warm summer lake. We are drinking at fucking 10 a.m.
As you should.
I haven't. I don't know if I want to.
I mean, it's
That's
great until you break
crazy.
your hip.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
I guess
I
we
quite
kind of
like
just
my hip.
Of
on
course
that.
do I
It's
dare.
random segue, but we kind of gotta just appreciate a bit that at least Subaru doesn't have a lot of addictive behaviors. Because whilst he does do the bad like self-harming stuff, at least he's not falling into alcoholism to deal with all his trauma. You know.
Yet.
Yeah, at least he's not. Yeah. Because you'd assume there wouldn't be like cigarettes, right? But
Because there was genuinely a point when I was reading the novels way back a couple years ago where I was like, is he gonna start like making like a really bad drinking habit or something because of how bad this is? I was like, oh, because it would be a thing he'd have easy access to.
honestly, his self-deprecation could just be at the level where it's like, I don't deserve to,
Have
forget
a
about it
escape.
and try and wipe it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I deserve to, have all these thoughts in my mind to suffer and ruminate over.
Yep, that's depression for you.
I don't know actually how easy it would be for him to drink, because at least in the mansion, like they don't have alcohol until they found a secret stash from 3 generations back. Like they don't keep it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if he was actively seeking it out, I'm sure he could ask Russell, "Yo, could you use my wages and actually like order in like a bottle of wine or something?"
Actually, wait. Otto.
Otto.
It's
Yeah, Otto
Otto's
does
smug-
fucking drunk.
Drinking.
There we
That
go.
motherfucker's drinking. He could just take him out drinking.
Okay, to be fair, Otto
That's
is an
true.
alcoholic, actually, isn't he?
Oh, he's a huge alcoholic. That's
yeah.
where he's
Otto
at.
is a binge drinker. He's not
Okay,
an alcoholic.
he is a binge drinker, you're right,
He
yeah.
can function without it, but when he
Ah.
goes to get drunk, he gets way too far into it.
Me. He is me.
He enjoys it a little too much.
Drinks to get obliterated.
Yes.
And in the, at least in the web novel, Subaru did get drunk in his second loop.
He
Like
did.
when he
yeah,
ran back
with
to
old man.
find
Ron.
Rom and Felt.
Yeah.
Oh
He went
yeah.
and got sloshed.
Then they changed
Though
it.
that
like,
was
fuck
changed
it,
to
might as well
milk in
try
the
it.
anime.
It's such a shame they did that. Honestly, that was a really funny scene.
It's Japanese censorship laws.
It is censorship, though. Yeah.
It's why
That's what it is.
Beatrice and Amelia were allowed to drink, but they didn't have Subaru do it in the
Do you think that's also the
OVA.
reason to pay kind of tone
Yeah,
Subaru
OVA.
down a bit in the light novel compared to how he is
Memory
in the web
Snow.
novel?
Yeah, because it's like official publication stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if he's trying to go to a
Unfortunately,
wider
Gunnar Baru only
audience,
exists
he
in
might
web
like.
novel.
I can imagine the editors were worried, like, okay, yeah, we know the kind of like group that Super is supposed to be from, but if you make it too much like that, it might put off other people too.
Yeah. Ooh, I can't believe my ass is sharing the same seat as Amelia time.
Yeah. Oh!
Oh man, I really need
He-
to piss, and this corridor's going on forever.
I was gonna say, it's like I'm so close to the piss arc too.
the fucking piss arc. Oh, the piss arc.
I can't believe he was part of the small bladder gang all along.
Yeah, my goat is washed. My goat is washed.
My goat is washed. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Like, web novel Baru would be the type to legitimately buy gamer girl bathwater.
Oh my
Yes.
Like,
god.
he is
Oh my
that.
god. No,
He's
don't
that
bring
guy.
that.
All right, without further
What
ado,
a-
before we derail further, thank you all so much
Yeah.
for being with us today. We will see you Wednesday.
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 I should be
Wednesday.
good for that. The
Should
odd
be free.
slight risk that it's canceled because I'm literally crashing out because I have 0 energy left in the tank. So I do apologize if that's the case. However, the hope right now, Wednesday, a go.
If Wednesday doesn't work out, I'll make us do double the work on Saturday. Get ready.
What, 4 chapters?
Yeah.
Fuck, bud. We'll see about that.
I was joking. I was joking.
Over.
Bye, everybody.
Connor's shaking.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go